Hello, everybody. We are back for day number 4, I think, of streaming the rules reveals as they come in. I'm joined by Paul, Mr. 4 himself, turning every matchup into a winning matchup. And we're going to talk about some Space Marines, but not just any Space Marines. The Space Marines that are not the boring boys in blue, the ones who've got a little bit more interesting about them.
The edgy ones.
Absolutely. We've got Davey in the chat. Good to see you, Davey. Good to have you. You're back in the country now, aren't you? Well, while he answers us, how are you doing today, Paul?
Oh, I'm very well. Enjoying this lovely weather that we've been having.
I want to die. I am not built for summer.
The weekend we had in a gaming hall when it was absolutely a massive sweat fest with.
Oh, buddy, like every event over the summer is just going to be death. Hi, Forgeville Titan, and yeah, good to have you back with us, Davey. All right, well, we've got a lot of fucking rules to cover. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through each index. We're going to go through the army rule. We're going to go through the enhancements. We're going to go through the stratagems. And then we're going to talk about some of the data sheets because there's about, I think, 200 pages between them all. And having done 250 pages on Saturday, turns out that takes a while. If there's something that you're interested in that we don't talk about, do just drop it in the chat. And we will get back to that one.
So apart from the main characters, a lot of them will sort of be like with the characters themselves, just will be copy and pasted with their special rules and such.
Well, they haven't really been copy and pasting in a way that I think is weird. In fact, let's talk about that because I immediately wrote off the foot assault marines, not because I thought they were bad, but because I saw the rule they had, scrolled down to the jump pack ones, saw they didn't have the same rule, got annoyed, and then just didn't talk about them. I just skipped them. But the rule they've got is fantastic. You know, they pick one of the buffs, it's like lethal hits, lance, or sustained hits, something like that. You pick one of those each time you charge. I can't remember the exact.
I think it's when you like, charge move, I think.
Yeah, given that transports look like they're going to be actually valuable.
Useful.
Yeah, so I need to not get blinded by impotent rage because the rule that I want isn't on the data sheet I want because they're trying to do something different with each data sheet, which is cool.
Yeah, it's like all the really chaplains have a different litany, and all the different librarians have a different psychic power, just to make it really annoying to try and memorize.
Yeah, and the extra layer of things that we're starting to pick up on is that some of the characters look really good, but then you scroll down, you see who they can join, and you go, oh, you're a great character that can only join, shooting units.
Assault melee rules. Cool.
yeah, exactly. So let's not fuck about. Blood Angels, red first, charge, you get +1 to strength and attacks. Just good. It's not as good as the 9th edition rule, but it's still like a really good force multiplier. I think in terms of the strength of 9th edition detachment rules, we wouldn't be seeing anything of that level. So I'm quite pleased with that. What do you think?
Yeah, so it's not gonna absolutely smash anything they get into combat now. Obviously, with the toughness increase on a lot of things, it's going to make a big difference. Oh, I've just got the screen share come up. It's going to be about 20 seconds behind what you just talked about because I was just about to load.
It's because I just clicked it.
Pretend I knew what you're talking about.
On Friday, I forgot to unmute my mic at the start of the stream, and then I forgot to share
the whole screen
that I was looking at. So very pleased that people are in the chat giving me a hand there and pointing out that I was a muppet. But yeah, it's just good. It's good on melee stuff. That's what we want Blood Angels to do. Stratagems. So, okay, 6 strats, 5 of them are 1 CP. That's a good start. Angel Sacrifice, pick it at any time when the character's destroyed. At that point, all of your other units re-roll hits against the unit that destroyed the character. That feels like a 9th edition stratagem to me. So it's kind of niche. It feels like it's going to be rare that an opponent...
It involves them killing your character first.
Which is not going to be too uncommon because there's going to be a lot of precision attacks. But it feels like a lot of the precision attacks are shooting. And I don't really care about re-rolling hits across the board with a melee army. So
not when you've already got access to, re-roll all hits.
just re-roll everything. So if it was re-roll hits and wounds, which don't print that again, please. But if it was that, I think I'd be more jazzed on it. But yeah, it's fine. Like, it's a niche strat. It's just a bit of a shame when you've only got 6 stratagems that you get one of them to be a niche
Especially strat. Doesn't force you to, like, because before, obviously, Age of Sacrifice, you force them to fight your character, which was a good sort of defense.
Oh, that was so good. So good. And that was one of the first things that made me learn how to do melee jank, so you could avoid getting targeted by that. So you'd charge that character so they couldn't heroic in, and then
pile away from it.
Exactly, yeah, great fun. Cool. Armor of Contempt, we've seen it before. 1 CP minus
I'm
an 18.
guessing every Space Marine army is going to get
Every
this.
Space Marine gets that, yeah. It's such a good rule. At 1 CP, you're going to be slamming it every time you feel like it's going to be valuable, especially if you're in cover. You're putting Terminators in cover. They've got AP2. You don't give a shit.
0 up save. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was done, but no. I think Terminator builds might be here to stay.
Oh, yes.
But we'll get to that in like an hour and a half. Aggressive Onslaught. 1 unit just before it consolidates. Instead of consolidating 3, it consolidates 6. But you have to end in engagement range of an enemy. Normally, when you consolidate, you can end in range of an objective. This just means you're really angry, but you get a further consolidate. Again,
Situation.
feels, a bit niche. Maybe Blood Angels are going to want to wrap and trap a bit more than they have been, which, to be fair, it's quite hard to do that now, so we will see. Red Rampage, 1 CP. When you select a unit to fight, they get lance and lethal hits in melee.
So that's +1 to wound and 6
auto wound on 6.
Critical hits wound, auto wound, yeah.
Yeah.
Spicy.
What the fuck? That's so ridiculous. Hey, 1 CP. Not only does it have a weird overlap in that, like, if you roll a 6 to hit, you don't get the benefit of the lethal hit, the lance, which is fine because you've wounded anyway, but it feels a bit clunky. But yeah,
this is increasing your chances to wound, isn't it? Effectively,
this is just
doubling down on it.
Exactly. This is just slam a button of "fuck you," I am going to wound you, which is good because melee is now a lot less strong against vehicles. This is the sort of thing that might mean your Sangard can pick up a vehicle, perhaps.
Oh yes, especially you've got lieutenants as well. They give out lethal hits generally speaking.
They do, but you've got it in your pocket for 1 CP.
Yep.
Really solid strat. That's the first one I've seen that I'm like, fuck yeah. Armor of Contempt's good, but defensive strats are boring, so that's fun. Only in death does duty end. It is the standard fight on death for a unit. You've got to pick it ahead of the enemy.
You don't even have to roll the 4 up either, so that's quite strong. Yeah,
so
that's why 2 CP. Yes,
exactly.
The 4 CP one, I think, is the 4 up is on a 1 CP from previous ones we've seen.
From a 9th ed perspective, I prefer this strat here. I think it's going to be better to have the 1 CP strat, honestly, assuming you're running big units, because it feels like 2 CP is going to be hard to come by. Unless, of course, you run captains, at which point you can just be like, fuck it, I'm
do it for free.
Use a strat for 0 CP. There is a fun interaction here where if the character is, so say a unit goes into you, wipes the unit, but doesn't kill the character, or sorry, does kill the character. Once the character is separated from the unit because all of the other models have died, he, in theory, is no longer part of this unit. He becomes his own unit, and I think doesn't get to attack. I'm pretty sure that's not the intent, and I'm sure it'll be cleared up. But right now, if you wipe the unit in one go, everyone apart from the character attacks, and then he's just like, oh, I guess I die then.
Depends on where the character is. If he's already in engagement range, I guess he gets to be able to...
No, because the fight on death. So, like, if he...
Oh, right, I see what you mean.
Yeah, because he's no longer part of the unit. He doesn't get this buff because he becomes a separate unit.
Yes, that's
after
right.
It's a weird. There's a lot of that sort of stuff. They're gonna patch it, I'm sure. And then 1 CP Relentless Assault, fallback and charge. Fantastic.
Right.
Really fucking good. 1 CP.
I mean, we'll find out later on that it's not as good as some other one that is also the same cost.
Yes, but I think that doesn't matter so much because of the way you're going to be building your lists as Blood Angels. So I think you're absolutely right, but I don't think it's a major problem. Spoilers for Dark Angels, by the way, because they've got some rules. Stick around for that one. Cool. Decent, sweet strats. Not the best we've seen. I think they're okay, but it feels like there's a lot of niche ones in there. But the good ones are very good. There's a couple of melee buffs to turbocharge you, to get you into where you need to be. It's good stuff.
The hardest thing is just going to be seeing if the strats and the detachment bonus is worth giving up the normal Space Marine one.
Yeah, because you can get army-wide advance and charge for a turn, which is it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. All right, enhancements. Artisan of War. Give a character +1 AP and a 2-up save. It's fine. I've got nothing to say about it. It's incredibly boring. It's
Especially with a lot of the I mean, there are some beat stick characters, but a lot of the normal unnamed ones have gone down in sort of generally amount of attacks, the strength,
if
and damage.
but if you consider that you're giving them +1 attack and strength on the charge, yeah, I think this is fine.
Yes.
It depends how many points it is, but you know, maybe you make something that's. Are there any good AP1 weapons? Can't think of any off the top of my head. But this is fine. It's just not exciting, and it comes down to points, I think, and whether you want to take the others. Visage of Death. When an enemy unit is within engagement range, halve the OC, the objective control of models in that unit.
And I think from what we've heard from live streams who have been in contact with Games Workshop, you half and then round up.
That makes sense to me. That does make sense to me.
Obviously, until we get the actual official Games Workshop designers commentary.
That makes it kind of crap because a lot of models have OC1.
Yeah, so it becomes 1, becomes half, and then goes back up to 1. So it doesn't do much for 1. I mean, obviously, until I said we've got the FAQ document from Games Workshop, the designer notes, it's hard to tell, but that's what's been said on some of the streams.
Yeah, well, when we see 10-man Deathwing units with the banner in to make them OC2, I guess maybe that becomes the value there.
Yeah.
Although you've got to stay alive into their phase to make that work. Cool. Archangel Shard gives them Anti-Chaos 5+ and Lance. That's
situational?
Bad, in my opinion.
Yep.
So the obvious answer here is you go, oh, cool, against Chaos, I get to stack this with Devastating Wounds on like a Thunder Hammer. But,
because it's only on the model.
Yeah, like I'm not impressed. It's like, sure, you can take something that will do mortals on 5s instead of 6s, cool. But other than that, the Lance gives you +1 to wound anyway. So you're always wounding on a 5+ even against vehicles. So it feels so niche. It's like
the only thing it'll work for is for
you're fishing for mortals, which is
if you're doing devastating wounds,
which is fine. And it's going to be, the game's going to be broken as fuck because of crit fishing for mortal wounds. But I don't feel like this is a good example of it. Maybe there's something that I've missed that's like 20 attacks character.
You will see the data sheets, yeah.
Yeah. But I because we've seen most of the characters apart from the named ones, so you can't put these on the named characters. So I don't know. This is a miss for me. And Icon of the Angel. When an enemy unit is within engagement range and it is selected to fall back, it must take a desperate escape test as if it was battle shocked, and also subtract 1 if they're already battle shocked. So you can make it really painful to fall back. It's interesting.
Because is the desperate escape, is that 1s and 2s normally, or is it just
1s? 1s and 2s, I believe so. And I think getting out of a destroyed vehicle is 1s to 3s if you've got to go 6 inches away, whatever that's called. The desperate breakout. I don't know. I feel like Blood Angels are going to kill the things that they charge anyway. That is kind of where I'd expect them to be.
Generally how they work, yes.
Yeah, I know we've got less lethality, but we haven't got that much less lethality. So I don't know. Maybe this is good. Like if you're going into big Death Stars that are really tanky but don't kill that much or benefit from charging, maybe there's something there. But yeah, I'm not super wowed by any of these on first reflection, but that's fine because everything else seems really fucking good. So we're going to go with Astrath.
Yes, the desperate breakout is a 1 and a 2 normally, so it'd be 1s, 2s, and 3s with that.
Perfect. Yes, that is quite punishing. So Astrath, he's a jump pack character, so he moves 12. He's got a 2-up save, 5 wounds, 5-up leadership, so he's on par with Gilliman for leadership. He has a pretty beefy axe, only 4 attacks, which is odd. I know he's a chaplain, but he feels like he should have more than that.
Yeah.
He hits on 2s, strength 6, AP 3, 2 damage with devastating wounds. It's fine, but he has in his squad 4-up fight on death. Just
built in.
You don't have to pay a CP, you just got it. And also, once per battle on the charge, your unit gets devastating wounds. So, to me, this is a fire and forget unit of
Death Company Marines.
Death Company with jetpacks. And they're going to come in and go, we're going to mortal wound you, and then we're going to die. Oh, we died? Tough.
Shame. We've killed
Yeah,
one.
we're going to fight on death. Hopefully, you know, you'll be playing against a melee army that has to kill you in their turn, so you do get to fight twice with them. And then he can join, as you'd expect, Death Company with Jump Pack. Solid. Depends on points, but that feels like a really nice buffing character to chuck in a Suicide Squad of Death Company there. Baal Predator. Just going to go fast on this one, but like, fuck, man. I love the Baal Predator.
It's the coolest looking tank.
It's the coolest Predator, that's for sure. It's probably the coolest old tank outside of like the Land Raiders. I think the Land Raider Redeemer probably pips it. But I think it seems really good. It's got the overcharged engines calling back to earlier editions. If you advance, all your weapons have assault, but you can only shoot infantry. I don't really know why it's only shooting infantry. You could just say everything has advance assault. I don't get why they have to limit it there.
Yeah.
But that's fine because you want to shoot at infantry anyway. It has almost as much firepower as a Redeemer does, which is great because Redeemer has 2d6 strength 6 AP2 2 damage flamers, and it has a d6 plus 3, which math says almost exactly the same on average. So that's nice. And then you could take other things, but absolutely don't take the flamer. Feels like this is something
the twin assault cannons would be not worth it over the belt.
No, now that it's not 12 shots. This is something it feels like you advance into the middle of the board, flame something that's really unlucky to exist, and then you go, cool, you're going to move? Because if you move, I'm going to flame you. And it kind of just feels like it's a denial piece. And if we see like a lot of Eldar, which I'm expecting to, it could make their lives very difficult. Because you can just block off a 24... no, it's quite big. Like a 28-inch section of the board, and you just say, no. How dare you come near me?
You will Overwatch.
Yeah, it's also got the fantastic, you know, it's bracketed when 1 to 4, but the weapon you care about is the flamer. So I don't care. You can shoot it. It's going to limp along. It's the fun of Hellhounds from 8th edition. Lovely stuff. And yeah, you can take options, all the options you'd expect.
Yeah,
take the heavy flamers.
Because, 2 heavy flamers on the side.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless they cost more points, at which point the heavy bolters are probably fine. Because you can advance and shoot them, so it kind of doesn't matter.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to do the same thing that they're already doing, where upgrades are just upgrades. You'd have to pay for them, but we'll find out.
I have heard it's you're going to pay for them, and I would assume it's 15 to 35 points. Oh, sorry, I was thinking enhancements. You just mean upgrades. I think some will have cost, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see the bulk of upgrades for free, and then you've got like Thunder Hammers cost 10 points, that sort of level of upgrade. Brother Corbulo, he's seen a bit of a glow up, I would say. He's got a 5-up Feel of Pain here and +1 to attacks, which is just nice to put in. He is a foot character, so he's going to be joining Assault Squad, Dev Squad, Tac Squad of Vanguard Vets. Interesting that you can't send him in with the Death Company. I guess that's kind of fluffy, but that's probably the squad that I'd want to send him in, with Blood Angels. Oh, yeah. He seems fine. He's got a chainsword that's just a bit better than a normal chainsword. I am thoroughly whelmed. You bring him for the 5-up Feel No Pain. I don't think any of these squads here care about the 5-up Feel No Pain, though.
I mean, a 5-up Feel No Pain +1 attack to the whole unit's not bad. Maybe on a big 10-man assault squad. That's probably about the only thing you'd put it in.
The problem is, how do you deliver that in a meaningful way? Points efficiency.
True.
So, if he's like, 60 points, you're like, yeah, sure. But I don't know. We'll see. However, there is a character who's a bit of a badass. And this is odd, because he's a shooting buff character. Which is... Hold on, let's see. Who can he join? He can't join Sternguard. Okay, I immediately don't care about this rule. So this is...
Or he can't join Devastators either.
Can he not? Let's have a look.
Assault, Command, Tactical...
Command Squad. You can take 2 plasma cannons or 2 missile launchers here, but that's whatever.
Yeah.
This is really disappointing, because, like, just to quickly go over his rules, he has a gun that... it's melter 2, so it's damage 4 at 12 inches, and it's anti-infantry 4-up and devastating wounds. So within 12 inches on a 4-up, he's doing 4 mortal wounds to infantry on both shots, which is... I don't know why that's a thing. Yeah, but cool. Yeah, love it. And then he's got Dead Man's Hand, which is 6 attacks, strength 4 AP 1/2 damage, whatever. But if you dare hit him, he doubles his attacks. He's like, for the rest of the battle, I'm going to hit you 12 times in combat. Which is wild. I don't know if it's good, but it's wild. But then the important thing, every time the unit he's leading is selected to shoot, he gives them either assault heavy or rapid fire 1. I don't know about you. I'd quite like to get some multi-melters within half range and give them rapid fire 1. But
or give them assault so you can yeet them forward to get them into the melt range.
Yeah, you can't join the fun squads. So too bad, so sad. Moving on.
Yep.
Who can Mephiston join? What is it? A gauntlet? Yeah, I think the Golden Hand, Dead Man's Hand gauntlet.
Yes,
I think
it's
this fancy bit of kit down here. That's quite a nice model for one of the old Hammer. You can always tell, even if a good paint job's been done on it, you can tell because they're so 2D, because they had to print them in the really limited one-piece molds. So it's you just always have these very generic, I'm in a 2D plane pose there. He has a 2 damage punch. Yes, absolutely. And Tom says, Paul James is my god. I think that's a fair comment, and we'll be taking donations for the Church of Paul Jones at any time.
Paul James.
But yeah, you
James
can't expect me
Jones.
to remember your name. I'm trying to read and do words. Thank you very much. So Mephiston, weirdly, I think he got squishier. Was he T5 already, or was he T6?
No, he was T5, I'm sure.
T5. Okay, it's just with the stat lengthening, it feels like he's a little bit squishier. But no worries. So he's still a bit of a beast. T5, 2 up save, 6 wounds. Lovely
Got 5
stuff.
up feel no pain built in.
He does have a 5 up feel no pain built in. So he's all right. You know, he's got a decent psychic attack. It's not particularly impressive. It does rely on some really lucky rolls because he's got sustained hits. If you go hazardous, you can get really funny with it. 3 shots, each 6 is 4 hits.
So you got potential of doing 9 from 3 shots. Not bad.
No, 12.
Oh, 12.
Because,
sorry, yeah, 12.
Yeah,
extra 3, yeah.
You know, I'm thinking of the Death Jester.
12D 3 shots.
Because that's the same rule there. Yeah, exactly.
You
3 shots, 12
time,
hits.
Surely.
Fantastic. Oh yeah, absolutely. With those loaded dice.
Models.
Yeah. The profile itself is fine. Hitting on 2s. Strength 5, AP2, D3 damage. Okay, cool. It's only 12-inch range, so I'm not super jazzed about that, but it's nice to have. In melee, he's a bit of a badass. Strength 9, 6 attacks, AP3, D3 damage. Solid. I hate that he's still got D3 damage. I'm pretty sure he had it in 8th. I'm pretty sure he had it in 9th, and it just hasn't gone away. You are right. It is a mark of a psyker, a librarian. But just don't do it. Just give them give them damage 2. I'd be happy with that, and then it would speed up the game significantly. But he has some pretty good rules. Tom says just roll 3s. Yeah, that is absolutely fair. So he's a librarian. He's got a 4 up feel no pain, and his unit has that against psychic attacks. Cool. He has a do mortal wounds to a squad in engagement range with him, and on a 2 to 5, it also lowers their weapon skill, and on a 6, it lowers their attack as well. So he debuffs the enemy in combat with him. Nice. And then he's got the quickening. What does the quickening do, Paul?
The quickening does the best ability that there is in the whole game at the moment, which is the fight first ability, which now works backwards to how it's ever worked in anyone's ever recollection of the game, I think.
Yeah, that's cracked out of his goddamn mind. That's so fucking good. Is there anyone that I want him to join that does that?
Nope.
No, maybe we see some assault incessors, but yeah, no, like, this is such a good rule, and the fact that he can't join anyone meaningful is so sad.
Even just Blade Guard, that would have been nice.
Yeah, just Blade Guard, possibly the premier Space Marine melee unit in 10th edition from what we've seen. But like, if he could just join Blade Guard, that'd be cool, I guess.
I mean, it's certainly better than him just joining Assault Intercessors.
Oh mate, yeah, no, he needs something, and this ain't it. Commander Dante. We're being slapped with all good things that I can't skip. This is really disappointing. So Dante, again, jetpack character, pretty much as you'd expect. He gives a unit +1 to charge and +1 hit on the charge. It's fine. It's good.
Yeah, good.
And at the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit within 6 must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from that test when they do. That's a pretty good rule. I do like it when my opponents can't use their stratagems. There is one army that
you will find that Dark Angels will just throw that army at Commander Dante.
when Chris said on like Thursday of last week, like, oh, maybe some armies will get buffed for being battle shocked, and I was like, you're a fucking idiot. Obviously not. That's a stupid thing to say. I think I phrased it more politely, but yeah.
We'll come to that.
Yeah, I can't believe that they fucking printed rules where you get better when you're battle shocked. But anyway,
Brilliant. Love it.
going back to it, Dante, he's decent. He's eight attacks is a lot. He is a beat stick.
Especially now that most people have gone down in attacks.
Absolutely. Strength 7, AP 3, 2 damage, lethal hits. Just a good profile to have. Pretty generalist because that lethal hits. You'd expect to get a couple of auto wounds through. Maybe a 6 on there. You're doing 3 or 4 wounds to a vehicle as well. It's not nothing.
And on the charge, strength 8, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's got a pistol, and I don't understand why they keep giving Melter this rule, but it's a Melter pistol with sustained hits D3. So if you get him within 3 inches, so he's in half range, you roll a 6 to hit, you roll a 5 or a 6 on your D3, you're doing 4 hits. D6 plus 2 damage. He can theoretically just pick up 4 Terminators. Yes, you'd have to roll incredibly hot. I'm not expecting it, but it's such a weird swingy rule to give him. Most of the time, it's going to do very little, and that's going to kind of suck for you. And then sometimes it's going to kill 4 of your opponent's models, and they're going to be really sad. And then you're going to be really sad.
It works all the time. We know this
because your charge has gone from 3 inches to 7 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. And he can join Assault Squad, Sangard, and Vanguard Vets. Thank God he can join Sangard. We haven't seen that yet.
Someone needs to join them.
Mate, yeah. Because all of his buffs here are good. Absolutely putting him in Sangard, I think. Death Company Dreadnought. Fuck yeah. I love Dreadnoughts. They are my favourite. I was very sad to hear that Dreadnoughts were going away from Forge World. So the fact that they've printed this, and it's good. Movement 8. I'm so sick of seeing 6-inch move box noughts. This is a legitimately good move for a Dreadnought. T9's a bit 2-up save though, so it's decent. 8 wounds is okay.
Good. Melt wounds them on 4s, which is better than currently, which is 3s.
Yeah, but some of the Dreadnoughts are T10, so when you compare it on that front,
Redemptors, isn't it?
Yeah, but Daddy got to have his toys, Feel no pain 6-up. Just a good rule. Anyone who's played against Custodes know that you just go, oh shit, I thought I killed you, and then you rolled 3 6s out of, the 4 dice you had remaining, and suddenly that guy's alive, and he's going to absolutely blend me back. And he is absolutely going to blend you back, because he doesn't have a minus to hit.
Oh, no.
He doesn't have anything like that.
No degrading profile.
No degrading profile at all. So you can give him shooty weapons. Who cares? He's going to run at you and try and mulch you. He either has the Twin Fists. Both of these are twinling, so rerolling wounds. 5 attacks, strength 12, AP 3, 3 damage. It's fine. Or 7 attacks, strength 8, AP 2, 3 damage, which is my absolute pick here.
Yeah, I'd always go for the Talons.
Rerolling wounds is much less meaningful. Sorry. The high strength is much less meaningful when you reroll all your wounds. And flat damage 3, you want to send him into Terminators. Yes, the AP is not ideal.
And having the more attacks on a weapon skill 3 is a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because you're not rerolling hits there. Oh, wait. Yes, you are. Each time this model makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. Boom. Fucking love it.
Plus you get +1 strength and attack on the charge as well, built in.
Of course, yeah. Oh, that's a great point. So your strength 9, which is actually that's a break point. That's like the strength 6 to strength 7 break point. Good shout there. So you've got 8 attacks that'll be wounding rhinos on a 4. So he will still mulch small vehicles. He'll beat up other dreadnoughts in a fight. That's
and
absolutely
he'll just
for sure.
Murder Terminators.
Yeah, well, apart from the AP, because they'll make that go down significantly. But we will talk about that. If they are battle shocked and they're not Dark Angels, you're pretty happy.
Yes.
Obviously, if he's not within range of a chaplain, can't fall back in OC0. That's fine. If you're taking Death Company, you're playing around that anyway. Frenzied Reprisal. Every time an enemy targets this model, after that unit finishes making its attacks, you can either shoot or fight, depending on whether you're in melee or not.
Always going to shoot with them storm bottles.
Yeah, I mean, you'll take it. If someone shoots you, go, fuck it. If someone's stupid enough to just keep shooting you, you'll be like, oh, okay, cool. You put your infantry squad in to try and blink off that last wound, and you didn't. Cool. I'll shoot some store bolters. Oh, you went with your next one? Cool. And over the course of a phase, and you'd have to play someone who's bad at the game, but you could kill a squad and a half of Dire Avengers in your opponent's shooting phase. It's not the first time. It's just every time someone shoots you, you get to shoot. That's more interestingly, it just gets to fight in the fight phase. It doesn't say if you haven't already fought.
Yep, you can do
So
it twice.
you go in, you fight. They have to hit you back. You just finish the squad. Excellent. All good stuff.
Going now with 16 attacks.
Exactly, yeah. You do have a bit of optional war gear here. So you lose the smoke keyword, which is whatever.
What's also interesting is he could go in, kill a squad, consolidate into another squad, they hit him, and then he murks that squad.
Oh, that's the sort of tactical thinking I like to see from you, Paul. That is beautiful. Oh, that's disgusting.
And can he use the stratagem for the 6-inch consolidate?
I don't see why he couldn't.
Adeptus Starters unit. Yep, so you could
Yeah, so it's
give
not
him a
just
6-inch
infantry.
consolidate into another
Oh
unit.
no! Oh no! So this is like, I remember vaguely getting rinsed by like Gene Stealers in 5th edition, where they just consolidate and fight each time and just like rip through my entire army in one go. It may be 4th edition, maybe 3rd. I just remember something along those lines. He can legitimately do this. If you can pile in, consolidate into multiple units, they hit him, he hits back, they hit him, he hits back, you can legitimately pick up just
If
an
his
entire
points are
flank.
good, I think you'd probably want to take 1-2 of these quite nicely.
Yeah,
you would
I
not
think
feel bad about it.
I think it's going to be a case of how survivable are vehicles, but if he can theoretically walk up the board and either soak a decent amount of your opponent's firepower or get where he wants to go,
2-up save, armor, contempt, and cover is going to take it a bit
I
killing.
think you're absolutely laughing. I wonder if, and this is probably stupid, but I wonder if you take Blood Angels and you just take the normal set of rules, so you can advance and charge them just for one turn.
Yeah, you can advance the charge. You'd lose on the other stratagems. That
Yeah, and you'd lose the +1 to hit, and yeah. But like, yeah, it's something to think about because that's the flexibility we have.
Yes.
But yeah, so we did spend a lot of time talking about him there, but it is a beautiful model. Death Company Intercessors, what you'd expect. They can fire Overwatch or Heroic Intervention for 0 CP. I don't think we need to go into super depth about them.
And they're only OC1, so they've lose.
OC1, feel no pain, can't score if they're not near a chaplain. Otherwise, they're Marines. We'll talk a little bit more about the Death Company Marines with jetpacks. That's why I'm skipping the other ones. Hold on. That was the Intercessors. All right, so we're also going to skip this squad. So this is the same, but it has, instead of the free strat, they get either sustained hits if they're below starting strength or sustained hit 2 if they're below half strength. Thematic. I don't know how often you're going to be below strength when you get them into combat, but cool. And then the ones that are worth talking about. It's the worst rule of the 3, in my opinion. Although you can now deep strike them and not feel too bad about it because you reroll charges. But yeah, it's fine. It's just not flashy. And all the other rules having more words makes me feel bad about this one. But yeah, it's got the same limitation here. The feel no pain. It's got all of the stuff you'd expect to see. Still got a 12-inch move. You can still take all the stupid weapons like the hand flavor and the Inferno pistol. But yeah, this is a unit I'm expecting to see for Blood Angels. Maybe just the one. Maybe you combo with the Lamatis and you just go, what's the most efficient loadout that I can go for? Maybe it's Power Fists because they hit on 3s, and rerolling 3s is like you hit most of the time and then you fish for those dev wounds. But yeah, it just seems like a solid unit. What are you thinking?
Yeah, say the Thunderhammers with +1 strength, +1 attack, and then re-rolling all hits. I mean, you've got Oath of the Moment for that as well, if you need to.
Yeah,
but wounds.
Yeah, so you probably want to put Oath of the Moment elsewhere, unless this is like a unit, the only unit that makes combat, for example.
The biggest thing that's going to really matter is whether you need them to have the OC, in which case you have to then pay the points for a chaplain to join them, or whether you don't care if they've not got objective secured control, as it is now. Because obviously without a chaplain, they're just zeros. They can never hold an objective.
Yeah. Jack says the first model I built after coming back to 40k, can't wait to use it. That must have been in the Furiosa Dreadnought. It is, yeah. It's an absolute badass. And Davey says, can you give them whatever weapons you like, or is there a limit? Turns out, Davey, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Any number of models
goddamn Blood Angels.
Changed, yep.
Yeah, look at this collection of words. Any number of models. That says you can do whatever the fuck you want, son. You can do whatever you want. And I'm assuming there's going to be points, so you don't just go, hey, I'm going to put Inferno pistols on everyone. As fun as that was to be absolutely rinsed by at points when I've played against Blood Angels, I'm not expecting that to be a super meta choice because you'll have to pay for them. I hope. Cool. Great. Chaplain can join them. So we are seeing here a couple of bits of just text underneath basically saying if X unit can join this squad, they can be attached here, because you're not expecting to see on the basic Space Marine data cards, oh, they can also join Death Company with jump packs, because they don't exist for most people.
Yeah.
So this is just a nice, it cleans it up. Good stuff there. Furioso. This is the Death Company Dreadnought shit. Yeah.
6-inch movement.
6-inch movement.
Why?
Doesn't have a PLO pane. Doesn't have a cool rule where it gets to fight multiple times. Next! Gabriel Seth. We have seen him. He's pretty solid. You know, in melee, exploding 6s on his attacks, which is really nice to have. Sustained hits. He gets extra attacks within his models nearby. He can give a unit advance and charge, which is really nice. It's only on a melee unit, so you kind of like, it's fine. He can join Assault, Command, Tactical Squads of Van Vets, which is really not that impressive. And if you've got him, you can't take the other Blood Angels characters. So I think he probably gets left on the shelf again, unfortunately.
Oh, yes, because he's a Flesh Tearers, isn't he?
He is, which are the cooler Blood Angels.
Yes.
But, yeah, it is what it is. If you want to play him, I don't think you feel bad about it. He's, got pretty solid rules. He's just not as good as taking multiple Blood Angels.
He's 7 attack, strength 9 on the charge, which is not nothing. But yeah, like you said, unless you're actually playing them, I think we just stick with normal Blood Angels.
David says, who on earth would play Flesh Terrors? Some madman, some absolute fiend.
Only people that want to build 1,000 points so they can go terrorize small little RTTs. So that's the kind of person that.
Yeah, this sounds very pointed, and I don't know who we're talking about. I couldn't possibly say. Lovely stuff. Lamartis. He is a chaplain. He's got lethal hits on his Crozius. He gives. Oh no! He hands out -1 damage to his unit. I don't love that. Who can he join? Death Company with jump packs. That seems really good.
Yes.
So interestingly, he doesn't get the normal chaplain rule of +1 to wound. No, instead he gets lethal hits, which is just better in every way. Not every way, because of death wounds. Is better in most ways. Okay, cool. I like it.
Auto wounding, yeah.
Just feels good. -1 damage is nuts, especially combined with the 6-up feel no pain.
The only downside you have with lethal hits is if you're taking thunder hammers, every lethal hit then can't become devastating wounds.
Yeah. So maybe, especially with points, maybe we see him running with a unit of not Thunder Hammers, Power Fists. Maybe that's something. It is really points dependent. I'm expecting you to see maybe only 1 squad of Death Company, but both him and Astrath seem pretty valid. Both give a solid reason to take them. I think this guy, you might even run 10 fuckers and just be like, "What are you gonna do? Hit me with damage 3?" There's a 40% chance that I survive that, or something daft. You reduce it to damage 2, and then you take the feel no pain. Yeah, such a pain. Librarian Dreadnought, such a cool model, but again, it has a 6-inch move. So
but it's got its own way of circumventing that.
No, it doesn't.
Well, it helps everyone else.
I
think it's still quite a cool thing to have.
It is, and it might be something that you take, but it depends how expensive he is, because if you take it for that reason, he's not tanky enough to survive just out in the open. So you're going to sit him behind a wall, and then you're going to use him to Gate of Infinity models around the board.
Yeah.
You could do that with a Tech Marine for Grey Knights. And a Tech Marine costs 60 points or something.
Yeah, these aren't Grey Knights. These are Blood Angels.
Yeah, but my point is a character Dreadnought's going to cost 160 points. So I'm less jazzed about that. But he's cool. And again, if you want to run him in a thematic list, neat. But I think there's too many downsides to him to feel like it's good. What can you put on him? Just the usual stuff. Yeah, he's fine. If you can get him to the mid-board somehow, maybe you put him in the Storm Raven and you just drop him down, that's not bad. You can Heavy Flame plus Blood Lance Overwatch someone while you're providing all your buffs. It's not awful. Maybe there's a niche case here that I'm not seeing.
Strength 12 -3, D6 +3 with sustained hits D3. That's just hilarious.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's not dev wounds. Otherwise, that would be truly disgusting.
Yeah.
That is actually really good, though. In my
-3 is a strong profile.
Yeah, that's just a las cannon on crack with sustained hits. That's good.
As long as you don't roll the one afterwards on the hazardous roll, you're fine. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got a 5 feel no pain against the mortals anyway if he does take fairly.
That's true. That's true. So you're less worried about that. Jack says in chat, is that -1 to a minimum or ...
Currently,
It's currently not.
Minimum of nothing.
But look, anyone who's played the game for more than 20 minutes will know that Games Workshop dropped the ball in the rules writing. They have dropped the ball on -1 damage. The one that comes to mind is the Nundums that were technically 240 points per model because they wrote that wrong, but they also had -1 damage, which was uncapped, not to a minimum of 1. I think it's fair to assume that they definitely just it's -1 damage to a minimum 1. It's not what it is currently, but yeah. Davey says, I think they said there's no minimum, Jack. Someone reported that someone said at a conference that there was no minus. I think there will be. I'm assuming that
someone in Titans have reported that currently, from what they know from speaking to the rules writers, is that it isn't. It just goes to zero. It doesn't. There's no cap on it, but we'll find out when they bring out their commentary box thing.
Yeah, and they seem lovely, but they're also not a particularly competitive lot. So I'm not going to take that at face value. I think it's going to be. I'm expecting it to be capped because it'd be fucking bizarre if it wasn't. And there's going to be some real problems if there isn't. And we'll see those in a second.
We'll find out later.
Yeah. Sangard! Fucking great. A little bit less killy than they were. So if we just go straight to melee, the profile I think that you want to see: 4 attacks, strength 5, AP2, 2 damage. It's not bad. Especially if you're giving them, +1 attack, so it's up to 5 on the charge, it's strength 6, and then you can give them the Stratford Lance and +1, auto wounds on 6s.
Yep.
Solid, beats up most things. Interestingly, they get better defensively if they have the Warlord in the squad. So they're -1 to hit in melee at all times, and -1 to wound if the Warlord is in there.
The only thing I was disappointed is that they didn't get another wound. I would have thought they would have gone up to 3 wounds.
Yeah. I think they'd be too good. Like, I think they're very cautious about making fast 3-wound infantry with fly.
Because they put the, as we find out later, the what's the special troops that the Black Templars can take? They're up to 3 wounds now, aren't they?
Yeah, but they don't move 12 inches and fly.
This is very true. I mean, flies isn't as aggressive in this edition now because you can't.
It is if you're infantry.
Oh yes, of course, yes. You
can just move through. So I think it would be fine, but also you'd have to be a bit more expensive, and then the output wouldn't feel the same. And yeah, you'd go from being like I'm going to kill you to I'm going to stand out in the open and you're not going to kill me, which is not necessarily the role that I want to see for Sangard because of the points. They've got the standard rule for banner, giving them +1 to OC, lovely, and captains can join them. Not other characters, interestingly, so you can't give them the Sanguinary Priest with the Feel No Pain.
Yeah, that just seems really weird that you can't take the Sanguinary Priest with Sanguinary Guard.
That's
absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Unless, so the one that we saw up there actually didn't have a jump pack, so maybe you can. We'll just quickly whip through. So this is the Sang Priest. It's just the same, but he has a Blood Chalice for giving them extra AP. He can join dogshit units there. Fine. Sanguinor, there should be a Sang Priest.
He doesn't have it either.
Here we go. So he also can't join it. All right.
Yeah.
The only thing you can put in with your Sanguinary Guard is
a captain.
Don't love that. Feels like an oversight. Been a few of those. All right. Sanguinor. Jump pack, 7 wounds. Quite beefy. He's a lone operative, so he doesn't join any squads. He's just here to fuck shit up. He is your classic 8 attacks, strength 6, AP3, 2 damage, devastating wounds, which is a really solid profile for the mid-board brawling. He has fights first.
Ooh,
he has an aura of reroll battle shock and leadership, which is just cool. And he still has the rule where if you are charged, he can basically heroic intervention out of reserves into combat. So at the end of your opponent's charge phase, so after they've made all their charges, you don't have to decide while they're making the charges. One enemy unit that made a charge move, and you set him in engagement range. And because he has fight first, this is incredible. Your opponent, yeah, he's such a good defensive piece. If your opponent charges you in the first 3 turns, he just comes down and goes, "You should not have done that."
He's like, oh no.
Yeah. There are going to be some units that don't particularly care, like Terminators, like the Dark Angels Terminators specifically, but they're really slow, so you should be getting the drop on them, especially as an army as fast as Blood Angels in comparison. So really, really a big fan of this guy. I think he's going to be a great.
OC1's a bit sad though on a character.
I think that's fine because he's not that like. If it was higher, you'd be more tempted to use him as like a jank piece to get on objectives, and then I think I don't love that in terms of how the character ends up being played. I like that he's just here to come in, swoop down, save some models because he's going to kill what charge them, and then you get to play your game from there.
Yeah.
And OC1's pretty standard for characters.
The very sad thing is that he doesn't get his the Blood Angels bonuses if he does his little fancy trick because it doesn't count as having made a charge move. Or is it?
Oh,
is
that's
it
true.
Move, or is it just
no, it is just charge. Yeah.
Yeah. So you won't get the +1 strength and attack.
That's fine. Yeah, but that is good to remember. Tiger the Lost. He is the same here. He's still got the. He doesn't. So this guy, even though he's more angry, he doesn't get more attacks with his fist if you attack him. That's funny. But he does give advance and charge. He has the black range for reroll hits and no OC, and he's got death visions, which is just mortal wounds on the charge, basically. But only if they have their warlord in the squad.
Yeah.
He can join Death Company. Cool. Neat. Not particularly impressed by this guy. But it's cool that both of them are still in there, because he's dead in the lore, so the fact that he's got two versions, that's pretty cool. Sang Priest, we've seen him. He doesn't join the unit you want him to join, so although Assault Squads are pretty solid. And that's the end of Blood Angels. How do you feel overall about Blood Angels?
They are going to do their Blood Angels things of running around and charging everything and killing whatever they touch, I'm guessing, is what they're going to be doing.
It feels like they've got a quite nice little toolbox.
I think you're going to want to put more guns in, though, than you would typically run.
Yes, I think the start of the edition is going to be a lot more shooting favoured than melee favoured, but I expect 6 to 12 months in, we'll start to see a big swing towards melee, to where it's maybe a little more favoured to being melee, but it all depends on terrain as well.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
so
they've got a cool set of rules.
They absolutely do. So without any further ado, Deathwatch. This is going to be a bit of a faster one, mostly because it's very complex, and I think there's a lot to go through. I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that because we've got 5 sets of rules to go through. We're going to give some surface level opinions here, some fun combos that I've seen, and we're definitely going to pick this one. I'm going to pick this one up later on when we're talking about the in-depth. We're going to start putting videos out next week when we really look at what each army can do. So basically, Kill Team, it gives you rules here for mixed toughness, which is the majority, same as what it was in 8th. Joining transports. Technically, you can put bikes in transports. It's spelled out here, which is fun.
Absolutely makes sense.
It's cool because I think transports are going to be so much more important. But it's wild. And in terms of terrain, everyone is infantry, even though they may have mounted or jump back keywords. So it's just you walk through walls. So that's the same as it was in 9th edition. Yeah. My brother used to play Deathwatch, the Kill Team Army of Renown, and he'd do some hilarious jank where he'd charge through the wall and he'd use his bike to extend ranges and get off just some unbelievably unfair charges. Great times. So glad to see that level of jank's still there. Ela Wazzle, good to see you. So Ed's going to speedrun all the other Imperium data sheets when they drop on the same day. I will be doing that tomorrow. Yes, I think I will have someone with me. I think what I'm going to do is the same as this, either skip past the boring ones, or I might sit down and just go, here's like my top 10 from each thing, because there's so many data sheets, man. I can't, and I've got to get it all done in like an hour 15 because there's going to be another stream happening at 8:30. So I've got to get everything done in like an hour 15. So I think probably like a top 5 from each, and we'll go from there. So Deathwatch restrictions. You cannot choose anyone from the chapters. Standard. You can't have assault squads with jump packs, bikes, dev squads, land speeder storm, scout squads, sniper squads, and tactical squads. You know what that list doesn't include that you've never been able to take from them before?
Desolators.
Stern Guard Vets. Ela Wazzle, I definitely don't know. But if I did know, or if I had read some leaks that have been, legit so far, I'd say it's Imperium. So that'll be tomorrow. So yeah, Sternguard. Oh god, they're so good. Spoiler: Sternguard are fucking nuts in this army, and it'll be interesting to see if they get nerfed out or if death wounds get nerfed out. But there's gonna be something. So their mission tactic is it's like the Tyranid one, but better in every way. So you've got 3 buffs. You pick one at the start of your command phase, and then it lasts for that turn. Downside is you only get it once per battle, but that's fine.
So it's a bit like the Space Marine ones that they've got now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just once per battle, you get to choose one of 3.
Once per battle, everyone gets sustained hits. Once per battle, everyone gets lethal hits. Once per battle, precision hits on a 6 to hit, on a critical hit. Yeah, that's just good. Yeah, lovely stuff. Those are all great. Whether that's better than once per game advance and charge, we'll see. But we'll go through. Strat-wise, Armored Contempt, same as before.
Yep.
Teleportarium, pick 2 kill team units or 1 other unit. We're seeing that a lot for Deathwatch. Basically, it's if they're named kill teams like the Fortis or what have you, you get to pick 2 units. If it's just a squad like Sternguard Veterans, you only get to pick 1, which is quite nice flavour, I think. Basically, end of your opponent's fight phase, pick up 2 squads or 1 non-kill team squad, and then redeploy them in your next turn. It's the redeploy strat. We've seen him. This is just good because it happens, and you pick 2 squads. It's really
you
nice.
Can't do it while you're in engagement range.
Yes, good spot there. So no pulling it out and then going for 9-inch cheeky charges.
Well, you'd have to fall back first, and then you'd be able to use it, I guess.
It happens.
Oh no, it's end of the fight phase. Oh, that's a weird.
Yeah,
one.
we've seen quite a few of those. Basically, there's going to be a lot of difficult to interact with redeploys, and I don't know how I feel about that. But we'll play it out. I think we'll get used to it. We'll just start screening more in game. Adaptive tactics in your command phase: 2 kill team units or 1 regular unit. Select one of the tactics, and until the next command phase, that mission tactic is active instead of any that are active anyway. So 1 CP, pick 2 units, and give them a good tactic.
That's
great.
Strong. Yeah.
Great roll. 1 CP. Gonna slam that every day of the week. I think theoretically, if you had a captain, you could spend 1 CP and put it on 4 kill team units because the way they get to repeat strats. So that's fun. Love that. Hellfire rounds. The next 3 strats you cannot layer on top of each other, which is great, but it's some good flavor. So basically, it's special issue ammunition, but it's a strat. So special issue ammunition has had some various iterations, and most of them have been problems. So we'll see how this one goes. So
you can't
again,
use it on vehicles, which is good.
Yes. So this one, pick 2 infantry unit, basically non-vehicle units, or 1 non-kill team.
Yeah, all 3 have got that same clause on them.
Indeed, yeah. And you get anti-infantry 2 up and anti-monster 5 up. Oh god! So you're going to put this on a squad with devastating wounds, and
is there a really good squad
infantry.
that has devastating wounds?
Yeah, there's multiple. One of which is Sternguard, which you can now take. So you're just going to be doing mortal wounds on a 2+ to wound, and you're going to be within range of them, and you're going to be doing mortal wounds with 3 shots at 12 inches. And it's just going to be it's going to be real fucking good. Someone was saying, I saw someone put forward some numbers which are probably wrong because Reddit is usually wrong, but they put forward that you can do 90 mortal wounds into infantry with Deathwatch in each turn. So that even if we take 50% off that, if you're doing 45 mortal wounds, I am super sad.
That is gonna suck.
Yeah, this is a good stratagem, but I hope it gets fixed, or rather, Dev Wounds gets fixed. How about you take the next 2, because I need to take some tablets.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so again, they're both the same. In the shooting phase, you either pick 2 kill teams or just 1 normal unit, no vehicles. First one, end of the phase, improve armor penetration, characters and ranged weapons equipped with models, and by unit and by what?
So range
increase armor, and increase the range by 6 inches. So if you want to get an extra bit of sniping with some extra AP. It's all right, I guess.
It pales in comparison to the other.
Yeah, it's not quite strong as Hellfire rounds.
But if that interaction doesn't exist, I think that's really good. Plus 6-inch range, mortal wounds. You're getting, rapid fire and an extra 3-inch range. Extra AP. AP's really limited in this edition.
I guess it
for
bumps the
infantry
melter up
weapons.
as well if you've got melter, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Great shout. You can deep strike with melter, and suddenly you can get within melter range if you spend this strat on them. What a fucking great shout.
Yeah, you can get up to 24 inches on
the multi-melters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking yeah, no, that's great. That might be the best use for it. Kraken rounds coming out of eradicators. Cool.
Dragonfire rounds until the end of the phase. Ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have the assault and ignores covers ability. So advance and shoot and ignores cover.
That's fucking fantastic.
It's a good one as well.
It's slightly less useful than AP1, the advance ignores cover, but you get assault, which is just such a great rule. These two are more situational, obviously, because you're going to build your list around this one. But I just love to see it. Both of these are really nice strats, and the fact that you spend 1 CP to give 2 units because it used to be a data sheet ability. You used to just shoot and choose. So it doesn't feel too punishing now that you're going to spend 1 CP and give 2 units a buff. In theory, especially with captains splashing like reduce cost.
Especially if they're like big 2 10-man brick squads as well.
Which is what you've seen traditionally from Deathwatch over the last sort of 3 or 4 years. You've seen the big mixed squads. So, yeah, that's going to be good. Although no combat squads now, maybe you don't see that. They're enhancements.
Also with the Dragonfire rounds as well, is because it gives you the assault keyword.
Yep.
A lot of the actions that you need to do require you to be able to shoot. So you could just use it so that you could then put assault on a unit that doesn't have it, so they can advance and then just do an action if they're out of range.
I have talked about that.
As far as I know, that's how it works.
It's definitely going to get fixed. There's no way in hell that I expect you to be able to do actions if you advance, but you have an assault gun. But it is hilarious that is an interaction.
That's currently how it's worded, yeah.
Yeah. So enhancements. What we got? Let's start with the best one, in my opinion. Beacon Angelus. Your unit can deep strike if they couldn't before, and you can target them with rapid ingress for 0 CP. Fucking great. I love it. Big fan of that. It's just good to have. I like that even more than the Tome of Exclades because you just get to go somewhere with a unit that shouldn't be able to do that.
And come down
Hellblasters. I don't know if Hellblasters are what you want to do with it, but like getting a shooting unit somewhere it shouldn't do, or a melee unit that can't.
Especially if you can stage them behind the ruins, so in your movement phase you then go, I'm going to walk 6 inches forward and go, hello.
Exactly. You do it with like Blade Guard or something. You're like, hey, you really didn't want me to be here. I'm so sorry. So big fan of that one. Back to the first one. Thief of Secrets. Improve their melee weapons of the character by 1 on the strength, damage, and arm penetration. That's really good. And if he kills anything, increase it by 2 instead. You're probably not necessarily getting the stacking in a meaningful way, or you might, but by that point, like surely, like you're not getting him to combat until turn 3, probably, like turn 2 or 3, and then it's turn 4 you've got the buff. But anyway, it's just good. You've got a damage 3 Thunderhammer again. Neat.
Or up to potentially damage 4.
Yeah, absolutely. Osseous Key. So this is a Watchmaster or Tech Marine. Select a vehicle within 12 inches. They make a leadership test. If they fail, it's -1 to hit. No, sorry. If they pass, it's -1 to hit. If they fail, they can't shoot this phase. So you can conditionally make a vehicle within 12 inches shit.
Yeah.
It's so many.
Situational.
Yeah, there's so many hoops to jump through. They have to have vehicles that you care about shooting. You have to be within 12 inches of them, which they get to choose because it's in their shooting phase. So you can just be like, oh, remember, I've got this. And they go, cool, I'm not going to drive near you. This has been underwhelming in every iteration that I've seen. I don't love it.
I mean, if you've got one big vehicle when you can make it so that they can't shoot, if it goes off, then, that's fantastic. -1 to hit. A lot of them have got heavy weapons, so they just get +1 to hit if they stand still anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. So, Tome of Exclades, he's Gilliman on a stick. Once per game, you get to put an Oath of Moment on a second unit. It's cool.
Wow, strong. Yep.
Yeah, it's really good. You're going to take it every single game.
Oh, yes.
You don't have to call your shot before the game. You do it, in the command phase. Yeah, so you don't have to call your shot until you want to use it. Then you get to just go, actually, I think 2 things need to die this turn. Job's a good one.
I reckon in most lists you'll take the beacon, you'll take the tome, and then if you've got a spare however many points you need, you'll probably chuck in the thief.
If you're running a smash captain, Thief of Secrets feels good. If you're not,
yeah, it's just one of them ones. Oh, I've got 15 spare points. Thief of Secrets, why not?
Yeah,
that's probably what I think most people would do. But Beacon Angelus, Tome of Exclades, yeah, all day.
Absolutely. So Watchmaster. He doesn't get the free strat, which captains get. That sucks.
Boo.
Instead, he gets shoot and charge when you fall back. Well, that's not bad. And he also gets the
And
vect
advance in charge as well.
Oh, Oh, I missed that. Good spot. I
Advance
just
or
really
fell
thought that.
back.
Yeah, so you just get to do everything if you advance or fall back. Okay, that's actually really good.
That's quite strong, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good. And then Watchmaster, going forwards, you'll make one of your opponent's strats cost 1 CP more. Not on the first time you use it. Yeah, exactly. The Vect effect. The Vect effect. It's after you use the stratagem, so it doesn't pop on that.
Yeah, so the first one you get normal.
As is standard. Then he's got a worse version of a Custodes spear in the shooting. It's the same, but it's only AP1. And then he's got 6 attack, strength 6, AP2, D3 damage. Still hate the D3 damage.
Yeah.
But it has Lance for +1 to wound on the charge.
Yeah.
Really good. Really solid.
With the Vect thing, again, from the same live streamers, they were saying that from what they've been told is that if you use the captain ability, you reduce it to 0, and then it is the +1s on top. Yeah. Cool. You can't get away with going, it cost me 3 CP, but I've done it for 0.
That's actually going to be really big, because people are going to be abusing the leader's ability to make strats.
Oh yeah, everyone wants free strats.
Because I think most factions are going to get that. All the factions we've shown so far have had it. So like Eldari will probably get it on their I forgot Autarchs. There we go. You're probably going to get it on your characters that hand out that buff. He can join veterans in the Proteus kill team, which is just the Deathwatch veterans, but bikes and Terminate as well. Great, solid.
Yeah. I don't know what any of the kill teams are until we get to that bar.
That's fine.
I'm going
Artemis. He's similar. He's got a combi bolter, just a standard. Oh, it's a combi bolter, but it's a flamer. That's pretty neat. So dev wounds, anti-infantry 4-up flamer. It's pretty nice. And then he's got just a mastercrafted power weapon. Not too shabby. Gets up on a 2+ with 1 wound remaining on death. And he has the sort of like half rule that we've seen some characters get. So you can use a stratagem again in the same turn. It still costs CP.
But you just use it twice.
You can use it on a unit that's been battle shocked.
That's probably possibly. I mean, I haven't seen them, but because of the way that they can build their kill teams, I think it might have just been oppressive if you could do it for free twice with some stratagems.
I think so, but I also don't think there's anything stopping you from taking normal captains. So, because they joined. He might have done it. It might have been a different character. It's not something I remember.
He used to have a super melted grenade. I'm sure he did. Was it 7th edition?
The dark times. I wasn't playing in 7th.
Yeah, I'm sure he used to have it because I've got the box set for the kill team, and he was one of the coolest models. In fact, where is he? I've got him
here.
Yeah.
No, you can't take captains and put them in kill teams because they don't join the correct units. That's going to take me so long to wrap my head around that. But he seems fine. I don't think I like this rule more than advance or fall back and charge and shoot. So,
that's much stronger.
Yeah. Kill team Cassius. This is a pre-made kill team, and that means it's
the one that you got in the box set with Artemis. Yeah.
Because I don't have any choices here, I know that it's bad, and I'm just going to skip it. It might be fun. Who wants
to try and remember what all of them rules are?
Yeah, it's cool that you've got all these named characters, but it's not a thing. So, Deathwatch veterans, they have the Death to the Alien rule. I fucking hate this. Not just because I've only played Xenos apart from a few Custodes games this edition. Reroll hits. If it's not Imperial Chaos, reroll all hits instead. That's so dog shit. Like, just stop making rules that interact with certain factions more. Like, that's a fluff thing. That's not a competitive balance thing. Especially because the fucking Xenos units, speaking, for example, Eldar, typically rely on minuses to hit to stay alive. So, stop. Just stop. Lots of interesting stuff here because they've got so many profiles. We're not going to go through all the weapons. You can see here they've got the standard Storm Shield. For if you haven't got an Invuln, you get a 4-up Invuln. Whereas if you've got the Invuln ready, you get a +1 wound. They've got the Deathwatch Thunderhammer, which is strength 10 and flat 3 damage. Yeah, it takes 2 hands. Of course, it's better. And one of his hands is metal. It's just painted that way, but it's cool. Xenophase Blade. That's just a standard, a fancy melee weapon with an extra rule of devastating wounds. Pretty neat. Other than that, pretty standard. You can take all the swaps. You can give them Astartes shields and bolt guns. So you can, tool them up to do shooting, or you can tool them up with melee weapons as well. And obviously you're limited to only one Thunderhammer per 5, fairly standard there. And also it says here, if characters can join Van Vets, they can join here. Okay, so characters could join this. That's good to know. Deathwatch Terminators. They've got the standard, your unit takes a battle shock when they charge. This is the worst rule, I think, out of all the Terminator ones.
Yeah.
The normal Assault Terminators have it. I hate it so much. But they have the teleport armor, which is great, which is just you can rapid ingress within 3 inches of the token and outside of 9 inches. So it's just a rapid ingress for free. And if you keep your unit in reserve, you can either do that, you kind of calling your shot, or you can rapid ingress literally anywhere you want to go and just pay the CP for it. So I think this is really nice to have. The important thing you can see here is you can do whatever you want. You cannot do a Thunderhammer and Cyclone Missile Launcher, which is absolutely fine. It's good. You shouldn't have been able to do that anyway. I'm looking at someone in this lobby. It's funny because, and maybe this is a dirty name, Ben Pritchard, one of the other very good Dark Angels players, he never put Thunderhammers on his because some of the events he was going to didn't allow it. But I'm sure he's feeling very.
Which is weird because the core rules quite clearly state that that's how it works.
Yeah, but it was, they didn't clearly state that was how it worked. It said you can do this, and then it depended which order you read it in. If you read, I'm going to change it for a Thunderhammer, and then you didn't have a Stormbolter to change. It was allowed.
Essentially, you can do them in any order, and
it was allowed.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like I don't think it was the intent. I don't think you're a gamey motherfucker for doing it.
Well, they've been able to do it since 7th edition. At least Deathwing Terminators have. You've always been able to have Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, missiles.
Typically the ones who can do it. But I'm also not sad that it's going away because it feels weird that you've got a shooting buff on the tankiest guy.
Yeah, because half the time you never fight them because they're always in combat anyway.
But I think you still, if you run them mixed, you still just go cool. I've got 8 Terminators with Storm Shields, and then I've got 2 with Cyclone Missile Launchers, and a Power Fist or a Chain Fist or something.
They can take 3 heavy weapons. That's quite interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so Deathwing Terminators have always been able to do that, Deathwatch Terminators. So what's interesting is when you get to the mixed squads, if they can still do it, you can take 5 guys and then 3 Terminators, all with heavy weapons. So that just gives you some weird jank of I'm putting more, and then you put missile launchers on your veterans as well, and you can just be hey, I've got loads of missile launchers. That was scary at one point, not in 9th edition, not in 10th edition. So probably don't do that. But yeah,
I mean, 18 shots with devastating wounds isn't something to sniff at either with the assault cannons.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not super impressed by assault cannons in terms of dev wounds. I feel like there's easier ways to get it. Because, if you think about it, 18 wounds, realistically, without rerolls, translates to 2 mortal wounds after you've rolled your hits and wounds. If you're rerolling all hits and wounds, it gets a bit better. But if you want to go for the death wound spam, you got some better choices in this army.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Veteran bikes, again, we're looking at you can take long vigil range weapons instead of the plasma guns that you can take on normal ones. Turbo boost, 6-inch advance, you can give them Astartes shields. They're basically just veterans on bikes, which is cool. It's solid. You've got some options here. It looks like
they've got... It's only the sergeant that can take the shield.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's disappointing.
Not too previous. If we had the whole unit before been done.
Okay. Well, it's still pretty nice. I think you don't take them at that point because they've just got... They can take the long vigil melee weapons. Okay, still they're better in combat than normal ones. Strength 5, AP 2, 1 damage. Yeah, they're all right. They're fine. Corvus Blackstar. If I skip past this, then Craig will kill me because I've got to make Craig, who has been trying to make this work for as long as I've known him. So let's have a look. It's got the normal flyer. It has stealth. It's got cluster launchers, which is when you move over a unit on a D6, do a mortal wound for a 5-up. That's the worst version of it we've seen so far. Games Workshop, please have consistency between your models. Auspex Array, you can have ignore cover, or you can have smoke, because I'm pretty sure you pick one of the 2. Then it's got a collection of weapons.
So standard, it's got 2 Black Star rocket launchers, twin assault cannon, and the armored hull.
Yeah, don't love that. It's fine. I think the reason you take it, if you do, is because you can take characters. Not characters, you can transport, sorry. You can put stuff in there. You can use it and you can yeet stuff around. maybe that's good. I think you can deep strike most of the the Deathwatch stuff because of just in belt. But maybe there's a use there. This feels less terrible because you can move it and then get stuff out.
It's got stealth, so it's
-1 to hit.
-1 to hit, and it's got the hover keyword, which is always handy, so you can start on the board. You just lose your infinite movement.
Yeah, so maybe that's something. Proteus kill team. If you attack something that's above half strength, add 1 to hit roll.
God, these data sheets are a headache, aren't they?
Such a good rule. Yeah, that's why we're going to skim them. Sorry to any Deathwatch players. I will be going into this in more depth in like a week or two. But just for our sanity, we gotta go fast on this. So it's got all of the stuff you'd expect. +1 to hit is their rule, the Proteus Doctrine. That is such a good rule. If you're hitting stuff that's at full strength or above half strength, which is what you want to send a big killer unit into, you're just going to fucking wreck them. And you can take, for example, if you wanted, you could take frag cannons and you're still hitting on 3s on the move. So this just feels good. You're going to be able to do some jank. I don't know what the jank you're going to take is. It took people months to get the right kill team selection sorted in 9th edition.
There's a lot
when
of
their Army Renown came out. There's going to be a lot of fun to be had if you enjoy, list building, finding out how you want to run your squads. These are going to be like, this is the most granular army in 10th edition, that's for sure. Great stuff there. And it's still got all the fun rules. You can get in transports with your bikes. You can walk through walls with your bikes. It's all great. Good stuff there. Fortis kill team.
At full capacity, it's going to be, what, a 10, 14, 18, 20 man
Oh, God.
unit.
I didn't realize you could... Oh, that's new. Oh, no, 10 models maximum. Okay.
Oh, yes, sorry. Blah, 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 the very first part, not the end part.
Oh, my God, that was... I was ready there to just have some ridiculous bullshit.
If you could just take the full 20 man, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as we can see here, you can still take 3 Terminators with heavy weapons there. Cool. Fortis kill team. They've got the same doctrine. Okay, this is... Oh, no, this is below half strength. So the first one is above half strength, and this is below half strength. This is dog shit. You're not going to run this squad, unless maybe you are because of the long vigil ranged weapons. Can you give them storm bolters? What can you give them? So they are equipped with bolt rifles. Yeah, no, I'm underwhelmed by this. But again, maybe there's some combination that will get found in like 3 months or something. Initial thoughts, not great. This rule sucks. Take the other ones. Indomitor kill team. This is the big Gravis chunky boys. They have... if they are below starting strength, which is more likely to happen because they're quite tanky, +1 to hit, and if they're below half strength, +1 to wound with their attacks.
That is nasty.
It is. I don't know how much it's going to matter. It really depends on how the game plays out. Weirdly, because we're expecting to see a lot of indirect, this could be super good. If your opponent tries to whittle them down, then you come out and you've lost like 2 models. You're like, cool, I'm just hitting you on 2s now. And they go, oh, that sucks. So you can take all of the things you'd expect to see. You are having to take...
What is interesting to note with all these kill teams is, like all the other Space Marine stuff, combat squadding has gone, so there's none of that.
That's what I was just about to say. So these guys were theoretically interesting before. But
these are going to have a huge footprint if you put 10 models together. Gravis.
Yeah. The heavy intercessors are what kill it, I think, because they're not great. If you could like base it with... Wait, hold on. You can take intercessors with power fists with multi rifles or jump packs. Okay, so you can take intercessors with jump packs. They're not intercessors, my friend. They're inceptors. They're not intercessors with power fists. They are, fucking aggressors. Weird naming here. I'm assuming that's going to get cleaned up, but yeah. I think not being able to combat squad kills them, but especially because you can only take 0 to 2 of each of the fun ones. Like if you could take 5 eradicators, I think there's some play there, but you can't. So
yeah, you'd probably go 2 aggressors, 2 the melt rifles, and a jump pack maybe if you were going for a max squad.
I think I just wouldn't take them. Someone will come up with something. So the Phobos unit, Spectrus, they have. At the end of your opponent's turn, if you're more than 6 inches away from all enemy, you can remove from the battlefield, go into strategic reserve, and then come back next turn. And they don't have deep strike, so they have to come in from the board edge. Cool. Really good little tech piece. you probably take this as an MSU unit, you use it positionally, you try and score behind enemy lines or something like that. And then you've got all of the normal rules that you'd expect to see there. Cool.
It's
And
6 up
that,
from my page, which is cool because you get the hints from the intercessors.
Yeah, so it's basically all of the special stuff you can take. I think that's the base kit, infiltrators.
What is disappointing, obviously, with these ones, obviously, then you'd lose out on all the special rules that these units have if you took them individually. So, like,
Yes.
infiltrators have 12-inch deep strike style. You lose that.
The only one I've seen that I actually care about, I think, is the Proteus. But like I say, we'll wait to see if someone breaks it. So it'll be interesting there. Cool. Let's not spend too much time on that. How do you feel about Deathwatch on first thoughts?
It's giving me a headache just looking at all them data sheets.
I absolutely agree.
I mean, someone's going to crack it, and it will probably, like you said, it'll take them a few weeks, maybe months, to find out what the optimal loadout is on every kill team and what you want of how much.
Yep.
But yeah, they're such a fun. I mean, I've painted up. Like I said, I painted up the starter box set and just painted up all the different chapter markings on the shoulders. It was a great little painting project. I don't think I'd ever want to commit to making the army, but I think they look very strong.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to play with there, and at their core, they're still Space Marines. They can still take most Space Marine units, so they're definitely going to be good. It's just whether they're the most efficient way to run them is the question. All right, Black Templars. Let's go. So they can't take Psychers. They can't take any of these vehicles. That's weird. That's because they reprinted the vehicles. Like, all they've done is put melters on them. So we're not going to go into depth on this. It's literally the same data sheet, but it's got a multi-melter as an option. The way. Yeah. It's because their upgrade sprue comes with a multi-melter, so they can put it on all their Primaris vehicles. It's great. So vows. This is such a good rule. So you pick one at the start of the first battle round, which means
is very strong.
What your opponent has.
You know what you're doing, and where they deployed.
And if you're going first or second, which actually kind of matters. So you can give them lethal hits in melee. You can give them a 5-up Feel No Pain and a better leadership. Leadership 5+ is wild. If you're playing against Tyranids, maybe you go, hey, this is just good across the board. You can give them a 4-up infant against psychic attacks and a anti-psycho 4-up. It's pretty good if you're running Stern Guard.
Pretty good. Pretty broken if you're against Thousand Suns.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, hey, mortal wounds on 4 with my Stern Guard. Neat.
Why not?
So, yeah. And then you can take sustained hits in melee instead of lethal hits. So you've got 2 that are very generic. One's good against knights, one's good against hordes. You've got one that's just sort of a good defensive strat and good against leadership armies like Chaos Knights and Tyranids. And then you've got fuck you Psychers. Great. Such a good grab back. Yeah, like if I do Marines, which I'm very tempted to do because they just look so fun, this is very tempting to me. And I love the aesthetic, but you can't say that because there's associations with certain groups who have Templar imagery that I don't love. But yeah, in fantasy, in pretend world, where they're not bigots, well, they are bigots, but oh well, the Imperium that is terrible.
Zealots.
I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, well, it's fun in fantasy at least. Cool. Stratagems. Fervent Acclamation. Select a vow that is not active. Give a unit led by a character the benefit of their vow in addition to the vow that's already selected. This is slightly different to the one that we just saw for the the Deathwatch. They get to select it on 2 kill teams. You get to put it on 1 unit, but you get to double up. So that's really nice. You put it on some Stern Guard. You go, I'm going to pop you 1 Psyche unit this turn. Haha.
Or you go lethal hits, sustains hits. Way, why not?
You can. Yeah, you absolutely could. So
6 auto wound and explode. Yes, please.
Absolutely. No escape. 1 CP. Pick 1 unit within engagement range, and you roll a d6. Adding 1 to the result if accept the challenge no matter the odds is active. That's a vow. On a 4+, they can't fall back and must remain stationary. But if they can fall back, they have to take a desperate escape test. So that's one of those like conditional
one for anyone interested.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was going to say, so they have good strats that get buffed depending which vow you have. They haven't got bad strats that become good if you have that vow. They have good strats that become more gooderer if you've got the bonus, which is just such a great design space. I really like that.
It does mean you're going to spend a lot of time in your command phase working out where you need your fervent acclamation to go to then.
That is very true.
Bonus from the other one.
Oh, Good shout. Because you've got to call your shot ahead of time because this like activates in their movement phase. Yeah, great. I love it. Like if you don't get it on the fall up, they get to fall back, but they take mortal wounds anyway. Fantastic. Yeah. Big fan of that. Devout Push, which was one of the best strats in the book in 8th edition and 9th edition. Yeah. Pick a unit that was destroyed when your opponent has shot some of your models. Move up to D6, but you've got to move closer to the closest enemy unit. If you have Abhor the Witch, you can move up to 6 inches close, but it has to move, closer to the Psyker instead. That was a garble, but I hope I hope you picked up what I was putting down. Get shot, move closer. If have Abhor, then move closer to the enemy Psyker, but move a full 6.
Interestingly enough, it also doesn't stipulate that you can't move into engagement range.
Or no, which Divine Push didn't in 8th edition as well, so you could get into combat.
It might be covered because it's a normal move. If it's a normal move, I don't think
does it say? Oh, yes, it does. Okay, that's
That might be the clause. Yeah.
Good spot. Armory Contempt. You've seen it. It's good. It's going to be even more gooder because I think you want to do foot sloggy in this army. Crusaders Wrath. Pick one unit that has not fought yet. Give them an additional AP, and if you have Suffer Not the Unclean to Live, which is.
That is, I'm going to guess the...
it's the lethal hits one.
Lethal hits one, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. +1 strength. Again, a little bit of anti-synergy there, but I'm not going to complain that it's easier for me to kill stuff. It's just a double whammy. Like, you're going to take it for the +1 AP.
Yeah, you're doubling down on the same thing, really, aren't
you? The +1 strength is a conditional thing. I guess
that's what the breakpoints are, I guess, really, doesn't it?
But all their strats are 1 CP. Ooh, that's juicy. That is very nice. And then you've got Vicious Riposte. Fight phase after a unit selected to fight. It's the fight on death. It's the 4-up. But if you have Uphold the Honor of the Emperor, which is
the extra leadership,
and the 6-up Feel No Pain, absolutely. Thank you, my Calamus Resistant. Fighting a 4+, or if you've got that vow, fighting a 3+. Great roll. Fantastic. I'm really pleased to spend 1 CP for this, because on a 3+, I feel like that's just better than spending 2 CP to auto fight.
Yes.
You're going to get fucked on dice sometimes, but just across the board, I love it. All right, enhancement, petition seal. This is +1 to strength and AP, and
also just quickly speaking of the stratagem, I was just thinking with the fervent acclamation where you can put the double buff on something. If you can take a captain that does a similar thing, you could then put a double buff on another unit for 1 CP.
Sure, yeah, you double that up.
So you can double down on 2 units then.
Yeah, as many captains as you have. No, I think it's captain 2. But yeah, no, that's a great shout.
I think the captains is their abilities once per. So if you've got 4 captains, you couldn't all do the same thing.
Yeah. Enhancements. So +1 strength and AP, and if you have Suffer Not the Unclean to Live, you get +1 attacks. That's the sustained hits, I believe. Great. Sustained is just a good rule to have, and getting more attacks while having sustained, great.
It was fun.
Absolutely. Perdition's Edge, Precision, Anti-Psycho 4+, and Devastating Wounds. God damn it. Unfortunately, I don't think there are many characters you can take that this would be good on. Ironically, Psyker characters would be the best for this because they have the highest ranged output. But also, you can reroll hits and wounds against Psykers. I think you take it in Crusade. I think that's it.
It's a good thing they can't take a Psyker because you could use their psychic powers to then buff that even more would be ridiculous.
Yep. Sigismund's Seal, +1 attack, and if you have accept any challenge no matter the odds, can you just double check which one that is for me?
That's the sustained hits ones.
That's the sustained
not the lethal hits. So the first one's lethal hits.
First one lethal hits. Okay, cool. It's great there as well. But yeah, so here you're exploding hits on 5s. That's so good. That's such a good rule.
Especially when you've got an extra attack on top. So
yeah. Like, it's going to suck when you can't take it because you're playing against Psykers. You're like, oh, but the other rule's better. But when you get to play into, like, mass infantry and just go, ooh, sustained hits, exploding on 5s feels... Take it from a Tau and 8th edition Necron player. Big fan of those. And then we've got Tannhauser's Bones. Halve the damage of the attack and a 5-up Feel No Pain for the unit if they have the Uphold the Honor of the Emperor vow. First part is not a rule, in my opinion. Making characters more tanky doesn't feel good to me.
Especially as a lot of the characters generally aren't as tanky. A lot of them have lost wounds now, so like a 4-wound character.
Yeah. Marines tend to be more tanky than that, especially because you can't take librarians, so they typically have like captains or whatever. But yeah, and then a 5-up Feel No Pain for the squad is good, but it locks you into this in the list building phase. It's fine. Yeah. I don't feel bad about taking it, but I don't feel good about taking it. Grimaldus. What does this cheeky boy do? He gives you one of 3 buffs you choose in the command phase. Charge, if you advance or fell back, great buff. 5 up, feel no pain, great buff. Improve the AP of your melee weapons by 1, great buff. All of this is good. And
Funny enough, he can only do them if his little servitors are still alive.
yes, that's true. So if they get precisioned because they have the character keyword and you kill them off so Grimaldus doesn't die, he no longer gets to use his temple relics. That is quite funny. That's
No,
something.
actually, no, it's only Grimaldus that's got the characters. It says all models, infantry, Imperium, Tactis, and it's just Grimaldus that's
Oh,
character.
sure. Okay. So I guess they just die last.
Yeah, you just kill them last.
How many servitors does he get?
3.
2. So you just kill 3. Okay,
3.
so you kill off 2 of them because
You got 2 free wounds and you just
you've got 2 free wounds. Yeah, that's quite fun. And he gives rerolls to hit in melee. It's just neat. What can he join? He can join Sword Brethren and Crusaders. Okay, so he has some actual good squads to lead. Very nice. So let's get through. Crusader squads. I'm so ready for this. So, yeah, here, look. So you can take them in squads of 5 to 20. That is fantastic. You get so many options here. Character gets all of the Space Marine options that you get on old Marines. Neophytes can have melee or shooting.
It's just scouts, isn't it? And then
yep. Initiates, the normal dudes, they can take chainswords, and then you can take a couple of upgrades there. It's just 1. Okay, so interesting. It's not 1 per 5, so you can literally just take 1 initiate with a power fist, even if you take the full 20-man squad. That's still fine, I think. And you can attach characters to that squad if they're a attack squad. What rules do they have? Reroll advance and charge rolls. I don't hate that at all. Like, if you want to play foot slugging Marines, this is it.
Yeah, you'd take the chainswords, I think, over the bolt guns.
Oh yeah. This is not a shooting army.
No,
not here anyway. It's definitely a short range, in your face army, and it's got all the stuff that you want to see. And then we move on to High Marshal Helbrecht. Oh, absolutely. So he has got Ferocity, which is, have you guessed, anti-infantry 4+, devastating wounds, 2 shots.
Whee!
The rest of the stats don't matter. Just 2 more wounds to infantry. It's damage 2. That bit matters. I'm so sick of this combo already, and I haven't even played a single game of 10th edition.
I mean, it is only 2 shots.
Yeah. Anyway, then he's got melee weapons. He's got Sword of the Marshals, which has a strike and sweep. That's just nice. He's got a 1 damage sweep with 12 attacks, or a 3 damage sweep with 6 attacks. Strike, sorry. Nice to have. His rules are he gives +1 strength to melee weapons, and you crit on a 5+ if you hit a unit. That is good. That is very good. So you know the rule that we saw further up, where like you get, if you've taken the sustained hits thing, you get crits on a 5+. Yeah, he just says you get crits on a 5+ all of the time. So take me instead. Yeah. And then he does some mortal wounds as well. That's fine. Who can he join? The stuff you expect him to see. He's a Primaris model. Primaris Crusader Squad. These chaps can be taken in... Right, this is a weird one. This is a minimum of 10, but a maximum of 20 again. So you can give Heavy Flamer to the Sergeant. You can take away the chain swords to make them better at shooting. Don't do that for the Neophytes. You can give them heavy bolt pistols and start his chain swords to the initiates. You probably do that. Yep. And you can have up to 2 heavy bolters or pyroblasters for each 10. Okay, excellent. So you can take... What does the Sergeant have here? So you've got 1 dude with a power weapon. You've got 4 dudes with power fists. And then you've got everyone else with just like close combat weapons. This is if you're taking the full squad of 20. Again, you're re-rolling advanced
blending everything.
And you're just blending. It's fantastic. If this isn't much more expensive than the normal squad, the regular Crusader squad, this just feels so good. Like you're walking in and you're going, I've got 12 power fist attacks, and I've got 3 power weapon attacks, and I've got a million chainsword attacks. I'm a huge fan of this. They do still have the mixed save, which I don't love, especially now that you can't take a vow for 5 up infant across the board. But yeah, it's fine. You know, it is what it is. Love to see it. Anyone who can attach to intercessors. There are a lot of those characters. Big fan of that. Sword Brethren. This is a weird fucking unit. So, They have 3 wounds now. They are chosen, basically. They're loyalist chosen. They
It's
are
like Blade Guard without a shield, aren't they?
well, no. What they are is they are Khorne chosen, but instead of being painted red, they're painted black.
Yeah.
Come at me, Black Templars fans. You know it's true. They are definitely Khorne chosen. You can give them either +1 attack or +1 damage in melee. Fantastic rule. Such a good rule. And look at the options you can have. 1 dude in 5. So let's say you take a full squad. 2 guys get a Thunder Hammer. You can take some plasma pistols and pyre pistols. That's fine. I don't really care. And then you can take power swords, power weapons. Yeah, perfect. So most of the squad's going to have power weapons, I think, but they're just damage 2 power weapons. That's really good. They're Blade Guard, basically. You just go, hey, I'm taking this rule, and I'm Blade Guard, and also I've got 2 Thunder Hammers in here, and also I can have a squad of 10, and also I'm probably cheaper. I don't have the 4-up infant.
In fact, it's a squad of 11, isn't it, if you max it out? 1 Brother Castellan and then up to 10 Sword Brothers.
That is super weird, but you are correct.
Unless it's a misprint. It seems a bit weird.
No, well, it might be a misprint. But so what's quite cool about that is you can put 10 of them plus a character in a land raider, which is very thematic for the Black Templars there. All right, cool. Good stuff. Emperor's Champion. What a fucking beast. This guy. Once per phase, change a melee save. So I don't really know. I guess you can be attacked out of melee, but yeah. So melee, blanker save, turns it to 0. And when he makes a melee attack against a character, add 1 to the wound roll. Oh, that sounds quite good, but how's he going to hit the characters? He's going to hit them because he's got precision. He's got 6 attacks, strength 8, AP 3, flat 3 damage, precision. He's wounding almost every character in the game on a 2+.
Yep.
Not the lion.
Not
the lion's still a 5.
Yep.
But he is
6, 5 up because he's +1 to wound, -1 to wound. So it'll be 5.
He's absolutely here to mulch some characters. Really big fan of that. And then he's got a sweep as well. So even if you're just killing like hordes of Genestealer cult, he's still useful. He's got a bolt pistol because sure. And he can join the squads you'd expect him to join.
All the good stuff.
I don't know why you put it in a Stern Guard squad. That's not useful. But yeah, cool. Castellan. This is like a I think this is like it's a lieutenant. Okay, so he gets the lethal hits and he gives a unit shoot and charge and a turn it fell back. That's so good. That's so much better than just a normal lieutenant.
What can he go with, though? That's the problem.
Oh, all the stuff you'd expect him to.
Inferno squad. So
all the good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the melee squads, you're just going to give them pistols and chainsaws. So fall back and shoot.
It's fall back and charge.
That's the best bit. Yeah. The shoot bit you don't really care about.
Bolt pistols is fine, but like fall back and charge is just such a good rule. And then he's got the bullshit multi-combi weapon bollocks, and then he's got a Mastercraft power weapon as well. He's just good. He's a lieutenant. He's probably not going to be too many points. I'm happy to put him in a squad. Marshal. This is another. Oh no, this is a chaplain. No, this is a captain. Weird ordering. Why would you put your captain after?
Yeah, because it's the 0 CP thing. Yeah.
0 CP, finest hour. More attacks. 8, fine. He's just a captain, but with the correct flavor, and he can join the stuff you'd expect him to be.
Finest hour's devastating wounds, isn't it?
It is, but it's like
Once
he
per
goes
battle.
up to 9 attacks, which is cool. Strength 5, AP 2, 2 damage, devastating wounds. That is good. However,
sorry, it's equipped to this model. Sorry, I
yeah.
I thought it gave the unit
it's nice, but I'd rather get just like a bonus to the squad.
Yeah.
So he's absolutely fine. He nothing's able to join Blade Guard.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, which seems a bit weird.
And then we're just going to skip all of these tanks because all of these tanks are the same as the other ones. Yeah. All the good stuff. We're getting some pinging there. I don't know if you're able to shift your phone if that's.
Let's start that as my people messaging on. I've just got my WhatsApp.
Yeah, no worries, man. Cool. All right, Black Templars. Any thoughts on that one?
They look very thematic. I don't know really how to judge the strength of them. I've never actually played against them either.
I have a couple of times, not by any particularly competitive players, I think. Mostly by players who really like the flavour of it, which is...
I can see mass hordes of infantry being a fun thing to do.
So this is absolutely an army that, in my eyes, is the exact opposite of Deathwatch. Instead of being super complicated, it's super straightforward. They want to get in your face. They want to blend. I think they do it well. I think they're just thematically, they make sense. Points notwithstanding, I think the Sword Brethren are looking real spicy.
Especially with that extra wound.
That's the basic thing. Like, so they're almost Terminators, but you know, you can, in theory.
That's what I mean. They're like the Blade Guard without a shield, aren't they?
Yeah, you can put 10 of them, well, 11, I guess, of them in a squad, and you can just be like, haha, I'm going in a Land Raider. Can't do that with Terminators.
Can't put them in a Impulsor though. What 6 capacity? Can they go in a? I know.
Yeah,
you
you could do that. You could put six of them in a pub.
Yeah, you could 6.
No characters though, because you've got weird minimum. No, it's 1 to. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're getting into like the weird.
1 to 4. So 5's the minimum, and then it's 11's the max for whatever reason.
Space Wolves. Not to drop any names, because I don't know if you'd want me to say it, but talking to someone I know who plays a lot of Space Wolves, he said, I'm putting my 10,000 points of baby blue painted Marines in the loft, and I'm going to start painting some non-specific Marines. And that is so sad.
Well, you could just add in.
It's for UKTC. I think if he wants to use them as Ultramarines, I think they don't like it when you do that. There are 78 pages here. I don't want to spend more than 15 minutes on this. It's really sad. So we're just going to give a quick flick through.
We might as well do like their. I mean, everyone's seen all the sagas already, haven't they? Been previewed. So
I just want to quickly say this is so annoying. Like every other army gets a buff. You have to do some hard to complete thing to get a buff. Sure, you can stack them, but you don't start off with anything, and that is, it's really bad.
If the character kills another character, which is going to be difficult.
Yeah,
take the objective marker in your opponent's deployment zone
with a character. Yeah, it's just all bad. So yeah, and then you've got stuff here. You've got Armor of Contempt. Go for the Throat is extra. Is Lance and AP. Runic Wards is a 5-up filler pain against mortal wounds and psychic attacks, or a 4-up if you completed the saga. That's good, but again, you're playing Space Wolf, so Death Howl, which is an extra consolidation as long as you get into combat. If you've completed the saga, you make them take a battle shock test. Warrior Pride is select a saga that's not on and act as if it is. That's a good rule, because suddenly all of the other things like work, because you might not proc the actual army rule until turn 3 or 4. And then Relentless Assault, you can fall back and charge, or advance and charge. No, you can fall back and shoot or advance and shoot. If you've completed the saga, you're also eligible to declare a charge. That is so sad. Ilawizzle says you don't have to run your non-compliant Marines in your detachment, right? That is correct. But I think my friend probably wants to run Gilliman, because Gilliman's looking pretty good. If you're running vanilla Marines, I'm thinking Gilliman might be the way to go, because shooting's going to be good. He lets you just absolutely batter 2 units. So very, very sad for him. Enhancements, battle shock tests, that's whatever. Gives them anti-monster, anti-vehicle 4+. That's quite nice. Makes you actually able to build a vehicle hunter, sorry. -1 damage, that is terrible, because we're not looking at trying to keep characters alive in squads. And then you've got precision, +1 strength, and +1 AP. That's quite good. Frost weapon, that lets you get off the hunting down characters part, but again, you've got to get there. So the bottom 2 here are okay. But again, you're playing Space Wolves. Logan Grimnar. Does he give you anything to make it worthwhile? He gives you CP when he destroys a unit. That's not bad. But it's only when he destroys. So sometimes when we're seeing a rule like this, we're seeing if this unit destroys an enemy unit, they get +1 CP. He's just if I do it, which
is a bit meh.
Yeah, super underwhelming. Like
the problem is either the unit he's attached to will absolutely murder what you're charging into, or you'll put him in first and he won't do enough.
Yeah. He's not great. It's a once per battle reroll charges for everyone in your army, and then reroll hits. That's a nice buff, but yeah, he can go in all the different Terminators. That's cool. Then you've got him on the silly wagon.
12 wounds, quite funny.
He's got exactly the same rules, which is really disappointing. I don't know why they haven't given him anything different. Every other different variation of a character has had something spicy about them. He's just got exactly the same. He can be attached to Thunderwolf Cavalry. Cool. Najal, he gets sustained hits to So he's more like he's shitting out a lot of attacks, but like strength 7, AP 1 damage. This is not a profile I care about. He's got ruining armor, -1 to wound against psychic attacks. So that's, I guess, the equivalent of a feel no pain against psychic. But he doesn't even give that to his unit. So
It does to this model's unit. Subtract 1 from the wound roll.
oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you're here to read that because I was just about to absolutely rage. Okay, -1 to wound against psychic attacks. That's cool.
And
but...
-1 to hit for the unit as well. So
yeah, so stealth. That's his spell. Gives them stealth. That's pretty snazzy. That is good. And then in melee, he's exactly as shit as every other librarian. Again, he just joins Terminators. Bjorn the Fell-Handed, one of my favorite Space Wolf models. What have they given you, my son? So in combat, he's got lethal hits, 6 attacks, strength 12, AP2, 3 damage. It's fine. -half damage. That is cool. I do like that.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, and he has the Vect effect and a 5 at Feel No Pain. Okay.
He's got an 8-inch move.
Yeah, the good stuff.
The good stuff, 2+ save.
Okay. That's a model that I think is legitimately good. You don't run him as Space Wolves, you run him as light blue like normal Marines, but
I've looked through some of these the Space Wolf data sheet, and I was honestly thinking if I was going to play them, I would literally go full Dreadnought army because their Dreadnoughts are quite cool.
That is a thing that you could potentially do last edition. So, and I did think about doing. So let's have a look here. Arjak Rockfist. I remember when he came out in 5th edition. His whole thing was throwing his hammer, which is very funny. I love that
he's lost his 3-pin bun.
He has. That's absolutely fine. It shouldn't be a thing. You can give him epic challenge for 0 CP and then he rerolls hits and wounds against characters. It's fine. It's kind of whatever. I'm expecting to see a lot of characters and units, so giving him precision against them is not bad. Just put it on his sheet because why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
He hunts down characters. Just give him the same rules that every other character hunter gets. That unit get +1 to hit if they blow starting strength, +1 to wound if they blow half strength. I don't love this rule because it's really hard to proc if you're the aggressor. But it's not bad. It just, like, if we see a lot of slugfests in the middle of the board, this can be quite good. I think I'd rather just take a captain so I can target the squad with a strat for free and like double up on strats and take something else fun.
I mean, you can take him with a captain at the same time because he's a lieutenant.
Oh, so he doesn't even give out lethal hits. I'd rather have a lieutenant, honestly.
He gives out lethal hits.
Yeah, and then just take like loads of lightning claws or something and shit out loads of.
Because I imagine apart from unless you get to the +1 wound, the actual +1 to hit part is situational, but isn't it mathematically the same as exploding 6s? Oh no, auto wounding 6s. It's probably going to work out better.
For the disruption, I've had a slight fan issue. I've got a water evaporation fan, and it's just leaked water over my bed. Fortunately, it's really warm, so it's gonna
dry.
Yeah, it'll be dry before I have to go to sleep. But okay. Oh well, never mind. I should have thought that through before I did it. Cool. Ulrich the Slayer. He is really beefy for a chaplain. He's got an extra attack, 622. That's not bad. He's got a plasma pistol, so you can just like try and blow yourself up with your full wounds.
That's a good way to try and get your sagas completed. Because one of them you have to have a under half wounds. No, you have to be under half wounds.
And then he wouldn't count. So is it the character has to be under half wounds?
Plasma pistols.
Oh god, it's so sad that that's a thing. Cool. All right, so select one enemy unit engagement range of the unit. Your unit gets to reroll hits and wound rolls of 1. If it's a character, vehicle, or monster, you reroll all your hits, all your wounds. Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. And he gives them 5 up leadership, but in a 6
especially like mini overs a moment in combat and then full overs a moment into a character, vehicle, or monster.
Yeah. I don't hate it, but like I don't want it really on any here. Maybe the Wolf Guard, but we'll see. Ragnar Blackmane, the Trickster. He gives advance and charge. Again, it's to a 6-inch moving squad, so it's kind of underwhelming, but that is good. And also +2 of his attacks and strength in melee. So on the charge, he's got 10 attacks, sustained hits 1, strength 8, AP3 2 damage. That's pretty legit. I do not hate that.
I do. He's a cool model.
That's pretty cool. I don't think Ragnar's the Trickster, actually. I think I'm getting confused with someone else. Dragon
There's
Gaze.
a lot of named characters in the space.
Yeah, there are many. And
half of them I'd never heard of.
Yeah, he's got give a unit an infantry unit battle shock, and +1 to hit, +1 to wound again. He's got a fairly standard strength 7 AP2, 2 damage with lethal hits. I'm whelmed. Harold's Deathwolf, the wolfiest wolf who ever wolfed.
The greatest name ever.
Yeah, he's even worse in combat. He has no lethal hits. He only has strength 6. You can flip a damage to 0. That's fine, but not actually important. And he gives a unit devastating wounds, but only on the crushing teeth and claws. So it looks like each model is going to have 3 attacks, and it's going to be damage 1.
Yeah, it goes with Thunderwolf Cavalry.
Again, I think the best way to put it is whelmed. Oh god, it's done it again. Right, let's move that. It's fine. Having technical difficulties. We'll just pretend this isn't happening. Cool. Yeah, whelmed. Joined Thunderwolf Cavalry. Canis Wolfborn. In case you were confused, this is the guy riding a wolf who has wolf in his name. Wait, hold on. Oh, I guess there's 2 of them. Okay. Something to note, actually, the stat line. Yeah, T6 is quite nice. T6, 6 wounds, OC2.
Harold had T6, 7 wounds, so Harold's better.
Sure. It's more in terms of like what the Thunderwolf Cavalry will have. But yes, he gives them sustained hit 1. That's really nice, and then some mortal wounds on the charge. Like these rules might be good, because it's a lot of mortal wounds. But like every time I look at it, my eyes just kind of glaze over. I'm like, I'm so unimpressed. It's good, and I'm just bored of it.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to get mortal wounds in this edition, and I can do them at range. So when I see like conditional mortal wounds on the charge, I'm like, it's fine. But
a lot of hoops to jump through.
I could just shoot you with all of the broken shit I have. And yeah, he can join Fenrisian rules as well. Weird. I guess he was probably the one who was like, oh yeah, raised by a she-wolf. There we go. Cool, because he's a wolf. Then we've got a... Okay, so he's a lieutenant, he gives lethal hits, and he gives 4 up feel of pain to all character models in the squad, if there's another character model in there. So he's like a bodyguard. That's cool. I don't think it moves the needle on whether I take him, but it's cool. Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, lethal hits is always fun. It's like a lieutenant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah, I think that rule's just kind of neat. I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, nice to stop your characters being sniped. That's about it.
Exactly, yeah. Although it's all Terminator characters who are famously hard to kill. And then you've got one on a Thunderwolf. He gives +1 to advance and charge and the normal character strat. Then he's got all the usual bollocks. Has he got anything interesting on here? Okay, crushing teeth and claws. That is the same profile with the extra attacks. Cool. Nothing else there. Standard. A battle leader. That is lethal hits and... Here we go, aggressive hunter. So this is actually quite a good rule. It's the standard when the unit has, when you've been shot, you get to move d6 inches closer, but you can only do it. Nope, you can do it many times as you want. You can be moved within engagement range. So if you keep shooting the Thunderwolves, they can just get into combat with you, which is...
No, because it's once per battle.
Oh, once per battle, the first keyword.
The first battle.
I was just waiting to see you just like yeet an entire army forwards in their shooting phase. Okay. It's cool. Here we go. Blood Claws, famously hard to control. Leadership 6, wild. +1 to attacks and strength of melee weapons on the charge. So they only get 3 attacks instead of 4. Cool. So this is basically +1 strength on the charge because they've just removed an attack from their data sheet. Yeah. That's disappointing. Games Workshop, don't do that. Like, come on, man. Just give them. Stop making them bad.
You take units of 15.
You can, which is a weird number. Grey Hunters shoot in a turn they fell back and advanced. That's cool. I don't care. You can take a pack leader, but you can't take a... Weirdly, you can't take a Terminator leader. You typically...
You can. They are now separate characters that then join
the
unit further down. I did look through earlier. Because I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, they've lost all their cool Terminator things that you could have in every thing. But no, that's...
Wolfguard. If they have a character in there, +1 to hit. Great rule. Love it. But they have heirloom weapons. It's dog shit. It's really disappointing that Games Workshop wrote this rule. Like, I'm genuinely upset for anyone who has these models. Not necessarily Wolfguard, but Vanguard Vets.
All they need to do, I think, was be damage 2. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, like it's if you wanted to standardize them within the squad, which is weird because you haven't done that to any other data sheet in the Marines. Like, if you want to standardize them so people play what they have in the box, cool. But you've done it in a way that is so obvious that you just don't want these units to be run, and that is so disappointing. Like, it's such an anti consumer practice. It's so anti hobbyist. Like, you're just saying, hey, you know, those cool models
Quite
you have.
anti-firstborn.
You don't get to use them for an entire edition. And maybe they'll be good next edition, but maybe they'll go in the bin because it's just like this profile is unapologetically shit, and it's really, really disappointing. Luke's the trickster. Here's the trickster. If he leads a unit, then -1 to hit just all of the time, not in melee. That's quite nice. Although he's only in power armor. And then on 4+, the stasis grenade he has implanted in him explodes and does d6 mortal wounds to the attacking unit and battle shocks them. That's quite cool. I mean, I don't care, but I'm not taking him. But yeah, it's fun. It's a good fluffy rule. You know, we've gone from dog shit rules to good ones, so we like that. Weird that he's got a lightning claw that isn't twin linked. I don't.
He's only got one.
Yeah, but lightning claws have always rerolled wounds. Well, not always. Have recently rerolled wounds. They used to reroll hits, so a bit weird there. And he can join blood claws only. Okay, maybe. Like if they're cheap enough. Terminators. They have the Terminator rule. The good one. Ignore any modifiers and +1 to hit against Oath at the moment. Really nice if you want to run Thunder Hammers, honestly. So you'd be hitting on 3s rerolling specifically. The thing to know is what options can we take, and that is...
They only hit on 3s if they're against the Oath of Moment target.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I mean.
Hit on 4s,
yeah. Yeah. You can give... You have the Deathwing Terminator variability. You can just, you know, do what you want as long as you're not putting a Cyclone Missile Launcher on a Thunderhammer model, which good. Yep. This is good. It's a good unit. I think you take it over normal Terminators if you want to run them, just for the flexibility. And just, yeah, absolutely fine. Hounds of Morkai. They're the bad. Do a Battle Shock. I had so many words. For conditional Battle Shock, I'm not taking a unit that's an anti-psyker unit. Psykers are so fucked in this edition already from what we've seen. Like, I'm not taking an anti-psyker unit that is bad against everything else. Like, this is just not a profile. Like, maybe, like, I've seen you can do some jank with the Lieutenant where you deep strike in and you shoot and then you get to move d6 inches because they've managed to fuck their rules and you can now move after shooting as long as you don't do it in the movement phase. And then you get a short charge. Like, cool. Maybe these guys are better at doing that. Yeah, I don't care. It's not a competitive unit. This unit is fucked. Why have you done this? Why have you done this? Why
Unless
have you
these
made...
are like, you know, 15.
I don't even care if they're like low points. Like, this is such a bad profile. This is just the profile you have printed multiple times on the stuff that was really good last edition, and you don't want to see. Like, it's not even. They've not tried to be subtle about it. They've just gone, oh, Wolfen were quite good. I don't even think they were good. Like, Wolfen did a lot of damage if you got them into melee, and I lost to them in like a pickup game because I'm a bad player. Oh, I've made it strength 5 AP 1/1 damage. Why have you done that? Like, I'm not going to rant about it again because it's just the same shit. But, like, what the fuck is this? That is not a Thunderhammer.
No, should be at least damage 2.
If you wanted them to not just be, like, doing loads of 3 damage, you could just made them, like, strength 6, AP 2 damage, hitting on 3s, and then you could have made the claws and melee weapons this profile or something. Like, you could have bridged the gap.
More attacks, 1 damage, less attacks.
You could have been like, oh no, we're definitely trying to make the game less lethal. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. You're actually trying to make them unplayable, but at least you've half tried. But yeah,
I mean, the only thing they can hope for is that they're going to get maybe new sculpts with the codex, and they will come with even better rules. That is probably the only thing they can hope for. That's what I'd hope for.
It's not happening. By the way, 100%. Like, I don't know that, but just like it's not happening. Let's be real. They also have OC0 because what a kick in the nuts. Like,
oh shit, I didn't even see that. Yeah.
Galmara says, to play devil's advocate, it would suck if you ran all the same units from last edition. That is, I'm sorry, this is a bad take. It's a bad take because you've got to spend real world money and real world time on those units. If you can,
it is when it's not when the units that you're nerfing are the ones that are like some of the most iconic ones for your army. Wolfen,
And they haven't nerfed them; they have squatted them. This is no longer a data sheet. It's OC0. It's not a melee unit. Its fight on death still exists, but it's like a 4+. It's bad in like almost every respect.
assault intercessors do so much more than one.
If this is cheap, you might use them, but like you don't feel good about it. You don't feel like you're playing Wolfen. You feel like you're playing like a weird, like light skirmish unit, which is not really what they should be. I think it's really disappointing they've gone this way. Wolfen Dreadnought. This is not a disappointment. They have mortal wounds on the charge. Again, we've talked about this. It's good. Yeah. I just find it boring. You can get an invuln on it. An invuln on a Dreadnought is fantastic.
Beautiful.
It has a feel no pain. It has an 8-inch move. It's still, 99, 8 wounds, but it's got a 2-up save. Fucking fantastic. You can give it the Great Axe or the Great Claw.
It comes with both, and then you can swap one for the shield. I think it works. Yeah, you come with a Great Axe and Great Wolf Claw, and you can swap either the Claw or the Axe for the shield.
Which you always do because you can't attack with multiple weapons. Versatility is fine, but if you want versatility, take the Axe. If you want to just punch things generally, take the Claw. This is a great model. Like I'm hoping that they're not super expensive, because I could absolutely see myself running, 3 Wolfen Dreadnoughts, Bjorn, 3 Redemptors, 3 Brutalis Dreads, and just be like, I love this. Yeah. Oh, Murderfang, of course. We haven't got to him yet, so I forgot about him. Hey, Murderfang! So, Wolfen Dreadnoughts have an OC of 0. I'm now actually really down on this unit. Wolfen should not be OC 0. If you wanted to make it so, like, the Black Range units are OC 0 if they're not within range of games of fucking chaplains. If you wanted to do something conditional, like you have to have a character nearby to try and rein them in, cool. But like just a flat OC 0 is so disappointing. Like my enthusiasm for them has just immediately gone. That's such a shame. Yeah, he absolutely blends things in combat. But he's got the same rule as the Furiosa Dreadnought, but just take the Furiosa Dreadnought, the Death Company Dreadnought, because it can score objectives. Moving on. That's so shit. I can't believe they've made them OC 0. Thunderwolf Cavalry, +1 damage on the charge. This is a good rule. This is a legitimately good rule. But, oh fuck, it's marred by the fact they've got heirloom weapons. They're not even AP2. Okay, so Thunderwolf Cavalry are just dead. We'll just go past those.
I mean, to be fair, it does add 1 damage to the heirloom weapons and the crushing teeth and claw.
Yeah, but it's all AP1.
Yeah,
which is just it's a bad profile. You could have gotten away with it if you make it AP2 and then be like, maybe you got something there, but AP1 so dog shit. Fenrisine Wolves, again OC 0. Like way too much of this. We're seeing way too much of this here. This unit having it is fine. Everything beforehand is just disappointing. T4, I think they used to be T3 before, and the Cyberwolf used to be T4, but I could be wrong. It's a fast skirmishing unit, can advance and charge 5 to 10. You're not going to take it because it's not great, but you probably do still take the lone Cyberwolves to do mission play, unless they're OC 0 as well, so you don't take them. Never mind. Cool. Skyclaws, reroll charges, +1 to hit. That's a good roll. We're on maybe a data sheet that's quite good because Assault Marines look good already. You can take up to 15 of them again. That's nice.
Take 1 Power Fist, lots of chainswords.
Oh no, they've got not enough attacks because they've got the Blood Claw rules, but they haven't got the +1 attack and the charge.
So yeah, so they're just 3 attacks.
So they're just dog shit. Like, whoever wrote these rules obviously hates Space Wolves, and I don't understand it. Got to get that character into your enemy deployment zone so you can give your wolf an OC. Yeah, I guess that's true, Illiwuzzle. You've got me there. You've got me there. And Galmar says, aren't wolves territorial? Why OC 0? Yeah, I don't know. Longfangs. Surely this unit has to be good because they've always been better than Devastators. Yeah. So if they remain stationary, you can select a unit visible and you get to reroll ones. That's fine. I don't think you're going to keep them out in the open and keep them alive, but it's not a bad rule. It's just I don't know that it comes up in comp play. They've got a single flipper dice for 6, like the Armorium Cherub of the Devastators, and you can take up to 5 Longfangs with heavy weapons. Cool. Yeah.
So you get extra heavy weapon over Devastators, but you can't take a 10-man squad.
This is better than normal
Because
Devastators.
you never took the 10-man squad.
Yeah, exactly. This is better than normal Devastators. I don't know if it's going to see play, but yeah, this is fine. Stormfang gunship. If it shoots an enemy monster or vehicle, -2 to move, advance, and charge. That's quite funny. I don't know why I'm using this to hunt down big stuff other than thematics. It's got a dispersed shot, which
Frost Destructor dispersed. I think it's just a crazy profile. I love it.
Yeah. But the dispersed is the focus, and the focus is the dispersed. I don't understand why they've written it this way around. Proofread your rules. Like, you're such a huge company, you have no excuse for putting all this out without having someone proofread it. Like, there are so many obvious mistakes in here. Like, what are you doing? You're right. It is a fun profile. D3 shots with sustained hits D3. So that's super random. So it's not. I don't like it, but it's
funny.
fun. Yeah.
The rest of the profile's nuts as well.
Strength 11, so you're wounding most vehicles on 3s or 4s, not Land Raiders. AP3, damage 7.
It's just nuts,
7.
Isn't it?
But 7's fine. That's cool. You do you, man. And then you've got some other stuff on there. It's quite nice. I guess with the Saga, you can become OP1, right? OC1. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so if you complete the Saga of Majesty, your flyer becomes OC1, and suddenly it can take objectives. That shouldn't happen, but yeah, that's a thing.
It's vaguely, so you can start on the board if you want.
Vaguely interesting. Then we've got the other flyer. This is a transport, and it can chart. Oh, okay. So this is why you might play Space Wolves. You just don't play them as Space Wolves. It's got the same. Oh, it's got a slightly worse. Wait, is it still called a Hellfrost? Okay, Hellfrost Destructor, Hellfrost Cannon. So it has a slightly worse gun, but it's fine because it's the transport. It can take up to 16 infantry. This is a flying Land Raider Crusader with better guns.
Yep.
I am here for it. This is a genuinely good rule. And you can put, 8 Terminators in there, for example. Really, really good unit here, assuming the points are good.
The only problem is they have to get out before it moves, whereas a Land Raider you get out after it's moved.
But you can charge after you get. This is going to be a typo, because good spot. But you can, if you get out of a transport before it moves, you can charge anyway.
No, because it lets you advance and charge, is what it's saying. So you get out and then you.
I misread that. I thought it had assault ramp. Oh, okay.
So it's like the opposite of an assault ramp. You get out, advance, and charge before it's moved. So you have to sort of move it to where you need it to be and hope it survives the turn.
Okay, never mind. I'll walk it back. It's bad. So this can go in with a character. It's just a pack leader. It's the additional thing. Can't be given enhancements.
This is what I'm saying. Yes, these are the one extra.
Reroll Battle Shock. This is just the upgrade that you were taking before. Now they're characters and they can be sniped out, which is worse. And you can't tank on them. So if you take this guy with a Storm Shield,
you can take the Terminator ones if you scroll all the way down. They're all the same thing.
But if you take him with a Storm Shield, you can't tank saves on him in the way that you could last edition, which is really disappointing because he's a character, so you can't allocate wounds to him. So yeah, that's just bad. Should have left it in the squad. So there was no reason not to. Iron Priest, it's a tech marine, lone operative, blessings, vehicles. Yeah, so it's just exactly the same as a normal tech priest, apart from it's got a Hellfrost pistol, which is fine, but that doesn't really matter. Cyberwolf, OC0, has a scout move. You might still take these because they would be good for behind enemy lines potentially.
They need to be leading a unit though to get the scout move.
Sorry. I just mean in terms of it's a single unit, put it into strat reserve and try and get.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, no, that's true. It's a character, so just giving your opponent free assassinate points if you take those now. Cool. So that sucks. Wolf Scouts, they can go back into reserves and they get all the fun stuff. That's cool. Can they take snipers? No. Is there ones with sniper rifles? All right. So sniper scouts look legitimately good, and it's really disappointing you can't take them for Space Wolves. I don't really know why that is, but cool. Vendred, 6-inch move. I'm not even gonna.
Ooh.
Yeah, all the like it's a bit better because it's got a a 4-pin Vun, and it's got reroll of hit on. I swear, Wisdom of the Ancients is only reroll hits on the normal one. So this might be better. This is actually quite good as a buffing unit, and it's then tanky, but it's just really slow.
Yeah, because I think it might be because is the other one infantry only? Because this one's infantry only.
Yeah, they're both infantry only.
Okay.
But yeah, you maybe actually plunk this near the big squad of whatchamacallum's Desolators that every Marine player is going to take. And you maybe take him because he gives them reroll hits of 1 and wounds of 1. And then you don't have to Oath of Moment their target every turn. So maybe that's legitimately a reason. But you don't put him anywhere that can be seen. You just tuck him in the ruin.
He sits there behind them with them, and you just go, well, if anyone wants to try and charge these, they're going to get spanked by a
yeah. Dog shit index, do better. This is like so much in here is really bad. There are about 5 things that we picked out and was like, this is good. Maybe you play some Space Wolves as not Space Wolves. That's really disappointing. I hope they get the shit together by the time they wrote the codex. I don't think there's much else to say there. Cool. So I think we're done. We've hit 2 hours. We've only got 1 left, but you probably don't want to talk about Dark Angels, do you? Cool. Yeah, it's done. All right. I know we both are going to enjoy this, but I'd like to be done in about 30 minutes just so I can get other bits and pieces done. Just very quickly, Ilawuzzle says, we're Wolf and Battle Line. There's no way, but I will check. Oh, hey, I got it. No, they're absolutely not. They have the only good keyword they have is infantry. Then they have a bad keyword, which is Wolfen, because you've taken Wolfen. All right. Dark Angels. This rule is the start of some absolute bullshit, and I'm very concerned that I'm going to be facing a lot of Dark Angels players. I'm very concerned that we've got 2 Dark Angels players in our league, 1 in each group. That's not good. Don't love that. So, Adeptus Astartes, when they're battle shocked, change the OC of the models to 1 instead of 0. Oh,
not the most flashiest or interesting thing, but it sounds like it potentially could be very strong.
Well, because we're going to see some more rules.
Yeah,
and what this basically means is there is no downside to being battle shocked other than you can't target a unit with strats.
Stratagems, yeah.
But it's fine because you get fucking turbocharged. I am concerned about this rule here. This is a problem.
It is quite nice because for the last 3 editions, it was like always Dark Angels got better if they stood still, and it was just like in a game where it's all about movement, it was so wank.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good rule. This is quite possibly the best chapter tactic we've seen. Legitimately, just combined with the other things on its own.
It's all going to depend on how strong Battle Shock is, really. I guess if you play games and you realise,
I think it's a case of like you actively want to be battle shocked, and this means that there's no penalty to that. So some nice art, some stratagems. Hey, what we got here? 1 shooting or fight phase, pick a unit, so you can put this on guns, which is neat. Give a unit lethal hits, and if that unit, if 1 or more units from your army is battle shocked, so not even this unit, if you have a unit on the table that is battle shocked,
because if it was this unit, they couldn't use the stratagem.
That is true. That's a great point. If another unit is battle shocked on a 5-up, you get lethal hits. That's really good. If you can combo that with reroll hits in any way, shape, or form, you're looking at 55% of your attacks being auto wounds.
Also, if you then combine that with sustain hits, and now you've got that on 5s as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you can put extra keywords on the model, this can get silly. That's 1 CP.
1 CP.
That's such a good strat. Speaking of 1 CP, Armor Contempt. They're really good. Just really good. We've talked about it already. You might be running Terminators, and they love Armor of Contempt. All right. Irretractable. 1 CP. Pick a unit that is just fallen back. You get to charge and shoot, even though you fell back. How do you feel about this?
Amazing.
Yeah,
such a strong.
You.
Yeah,
fuck you.
So good. So good.
The only saving grace for why I'm not feeling so bad about this this index is and absolutely no offense to you, Scrivo. I think you'll play them really well, but Paul is a Dark Angels connoisseur, so he terrifies me a little bit. I'm so glad that I have Scrivo playing Dark Angels in my group instead of you. Purely because by the time I have to face you at the final, because you fucking heard me, I'm going all the way. I will know how to play them inside out. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh god, these rules are so good. Fire discipline. Oh yeah, just going back to what Galmaris has said. Hold on, what has he said? All the indexes released today are a bit questionable. Don't suppose you can choose to fail. You can't choose to fail. I disagree that all the indexes are questionable. I think Dark Angels are very good. I think Blood Angels are quite good. I think Deathwatch have room to grow. They're going to be something that nobody plays for 3 months, and then someone comes up with something, and there's going to be like 6 people in the world who play them to a really high level, and that's going to be great. They're probably not as complex as they were, but it's going to be like that. Black Templars seem like a good one. Like, I think Black Templars feels middle of the road. Space Wolves is actively bad. I'm reserving judgment on Deathwatch, and then this and Blood Angels. Blood Angels feels good. This feels fucking mega. Like,
yeah, this is nuts.
Points dependent, but if you can run enough Terminators, there's going to be some real pain. Cool. Fire discipline, because they do have Green Wing as well. One unit that has not been selected to shoot yet, and they get assault heavy and ignores cover.
Why not?
What the fuck? That's so good. That's
TV.
all of the keywords. Sure, it's not dev wounds on a stick, but hey, my unit that I wouldn't expect to be able to shoot has advanced. Oh, hey, I'm going to shoot you and also ignore cover.
I just advanced my Land Raider, and now I'm going to my Redemptor, and I'm just going to fire all of its guns.
Oh yeah, going to flame you and
it goes on
cover.
Any unit.
Yeah, you thought
you
were
safe. Desolators. Go on.
Psych. Grim Retribution. Just noticed here all their strats are 1 CP. There've been a couple of those. I think Black Templars were 1 CP as well. This is nuts. So when your opponent has shot one unit that has one or more models destroyed, they can now shoot. You know what's going to really suck? When you're playing a Marine matchup and you have Desolators and they have Desolators and they try and thin out your Desolators and you spend 1 CP and then you shoot their Desolators because they shot your Desolators.
What's good as well is it's done after they've shot. So if they only kill 1 model, so you've still got 5 left, then you go 1 CP, the other 5 are going to now shoot.
Yeah, it's Unbreakable Lines. It is 1 after your opponent's made a charge move, 1 unit within engagement range, subtract 1 from the damage. For fuck's sake. Just giving out 1 CP minus 1 damage to any unit in your army is such a bad rule to have written. Why have you done this? This is genuinely a problem. I'm really concerned about facing it. Hopefully, Dark Angels are priced out of being like oppressive, and you have to be skilled. And you
just don't charge me, and I can't use the stratagem.
Well, like we're going to get into the jank world of making charges and then piling into you, which you can do now, but it's really hard. Illiwazzle says Grim Retribution seems good in any matchup, not just Marines. Yeah, like the Marines just makes it so like your Desolators are the best ones in the game. But like heaven forbid anyone has like fucking anything else. You're just like, oh well, sorry you shot me. No, you will be sorry you shot me.
Yeah, because if they go, I'm going to fire my Desolators at your Desolators with that outline suit shooting, and then they only kill 1 of them, and then you go, right.
Or even let's say if they kill 3, and you're cool. Now I shoot you with 7. You don't get to shoot me back because you're not Dark Angels. Then it comes to my turn. I shoot you with 7. Yeah, that's not too shabby. Especially if you have, for example, already given them Oath of Moment, because I'm pretty sure that lasts until your next command phase.
Yep.
So if you've like targeted them, you can theoretically get really efficient shooting back. Really good strats. All right.
To make up for it, they're going to give us really shit relics and that, so that's fine.
I heard that. So get back on death on 3 wounds on a 2-up, or if you were battle shocked,
4 wounds.
4 wounds. I don't understand that. Why do you get benefits for being battle shocked? Why? Why?
And put it on a Talon Master. Why not?
Fucking yeah. This broke my brain when like on Thursday last week, Chris was like, "Oh, maybe a faction's gonna get buffed for being battle shocked," and I thought he was an idiot. Turns out I'm the idiot. Yeah, this is just good. I actually just threw up a little bit in my mouth. Can you take the next 2 because I'm so disgusted?
Yep, that's fine. Stubborn Tenacity, any Adeptus starting model only. While the bearer is leading a unit, each time one on that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll if the bearer's unit is below starting strength, and add 1 to the wound roll as if the bearer unit is battle shocked. So that's quite a nice one. +1 to hit if they're below starting strength, and +1 to wound with battle shocked.
Dark Angels is probably the place where this shines, because you're going to be brawling in the middle with slow units. And it also means you can take the units that have good stuff on their datasheet, like, for example, -1 damage, and then you also get the additional buffs to hit and wound.
It's also good because it works in combat and in shooting, so you could put it on Dust Riders.
Oh no, you're really winning. It's okay. So it's not as good as the jank you can do with the basic Space Marine ones with their sustained hits or whatever it is you can give them, but it's nice to know that you can buff them up. Oh boy, and also +1 to wound if the Bearers unit is battle shocked is just like, for fuck's sake, stop. Heavenfall Blade +1 to strength attacks and damage. Good. If they're battle shocked, +2 to strength attacks and damage. Why? Why is that a thing? Like, I don't understand why you're better when you're battle shocked. Oh, this is really good. That's all there is to say. It's really good.
Yep, true.
Yep. Penance of Remembrance. At least this one's going to be
This
bad.
one is nuts.
6 up Field of Pain. If your unit is battle shocked, you get a 4 up Field of Pain.
So nuts.
God damn it. Like, I'm already... Like, could they not have given us, like, 6 months between 9th and 10th edition where Dark Angels weren't super good? They gave us, like, 3 months. But that's not a long time. Lewis says, Stubborn Tenacity seems fun and playable on Hellblasters with an Apothecary. Start hitting on 2s as soon as you roll a 1. Just a shame they're completely outclassed by Stern Guard. Yeah, that is absolutely fair. It all depends on points. Maybe Hellblasters are 20 points and Stern Guard are 35. Oh no, it's the other way around, surely. Because that's how it's traditionally gone. All right, you're the Dark Angels boy. Do you want to read some key bits off the datasheet, and we'll just whiz
through? I can do. So going up, we've got Azrael, Grandmaster, Legend. Normal stat line, T4 now. Lost a wound, back down to 6 wounds. He's got his Lion's Wrath, which has sort of changed a bit. That was his combi bolter, or combi plasma bolter. So it's now anti-infantry 4+, devastating wounds, rapid fire 1. So in half range, he's got 3 shots, strength 8, -3, 2 damage. Nice, decent profile.
Yep.
He's got the Sword of Secrets, his melee weapon, also devastating wounds, 6 attacks, so he's lost an attack now. Strength 6, so he's gone down in strength again. -4 and damage 2, so he's lost a strength, but it's quite similar across a lot of characters and units now. They've gone a little bit weaker in kind.
Well, he's not actually weaker in melee because he's got something on his rules packet there.
Yes, he does. So while he's leading unit, the models in that unit have Stain hits 1, so exploding hits. You get a command phase if he's on the battlefield, which is always handy, especially with, as we can see, all them nice 1 CP strats. And while he's Bearers in a unit, they have a 4 up invulnerable save.
Yep.
Every time you can summon a Watch in the Dark to give your whole unit a 4 up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds.
Which is such a good ability for what the meta that we're going to be walking into. And he can join Blade Guard, so I'm immediately happy. He can join Hellblasters.
Yeah, the 4 up invul's a bit lost on Blade Guard, but it's still a cool thing to put.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Stern Guard, yeah. Like, there's a lot of units that you might think about putting in. Belial's a bit of a beast. First of all, he's a character killer. He's got precision on both of his weapons there.
Oh, yes.
He's
well, he was
not only that,
duelist.
His squad gets precision on critical hits. Was there a rule where you could get critical hits on a 5+, maybe? Was there a way of doing that? Was it a stratagem that cost 1 CP?
So long as someone's battle shocked, yep. You can make the whole...
Yeah.
It's just... I mean, I don't know whether you'd have to work out what his points are on that with it, because obviously there's only so many characters you're going to want to take.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, it's just on the sheet, you're like, oh god, this seems immediately good. He is a slow character. I think he probably doesn't make the cut. I think there's a lot of other stuff you want to do with your points, but it's fun. And if you dare to hit him back with your precision, fuck you. Roll a d6 for each attack that hits him up to 6. On a 2+, take a mortal wound. You can hit him with fights first or from charging, and then he will kill you just through the mortal wound bounce back, which is
it's only 1d6
hilarious.
for each unit that's attacking him though, which is a bit shit. Because it says after the attacking model's unit is finished making its attacks, roll 1d6 to a maximum of 6d6 per attacking unit.
I think there's a word. No, for each time a melee attack is made. So the first sentence there is referencing each time a melee attack is made against this model. So if 6 attacks are made against him on a 2+, each one does a mortal wound. When you roll 6 dice.
Oh, so you can do up to 6d6 per attacking unit. Right, it's the other way around to what I was thinking it. Right, yeah. It's not 1d6.
Start the fucking sentence, Paul. It's
Blah, blah,
I've
blah.
been the one to skip the front of the sentence, and you've been correcting me. Now it's my turn. I think the score is like 1 to me, 6 to you, but we take the small victories because
Oh yeah,
we have to against Dark Angels. And oh look, there's a lot of Terminators here.
you can join
You
all
can
the
join all of them.
Terminators.
Samael is a badass. He gives a unit shoot and charge when you advance. He gives fallback, have to take desperate breakout and plus subtract 1 from the test if you're battle shocked. So he's just gonna he really runs you down, and then he's also pretty fucking snazzy. So again, potentially you can give him critical hits on a 5+. Potentially, it's a little hard to pull off. 6 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 6, AP 3, 2 damage, sustained hits 2. Oh dear. If
Imagine
you
that on
roll,
5+.
if you crit on a 5+ and you re-roll all hits, you legitimately get something daft like 14 hits from your 6 attacks.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
you just re-roll all anything that's not a 5+, you just re-roll it.
Yeah, and then he's got a plasma cannon which is overcharged all the time, but he isn't hazardous. Yeah, he is such a good unit. I think you definitely see him here because you can put him in good units. You can put him in all of this stuff. I think you're really happy to do that.
Especially with the new stacked Outrider squads that you can take.
Yeah, well, I really like the command squad, but we'll get to that. Gomara says, imagine playing versus Sniz. Do you want a Shadow in the Warp? No, you don't. I think it's actively to your downside if you use Shadow in the Warp against Dark Angels, which kind of sucks. Ezekiel, he's been a staple in competitive lists for a long time. He's got the standard fill and pain against psychic attacks. He makes a unit battle shock, which is fine. I don't care. It's cool that you can just try and battle shock a unit off a point.
Unfortunately, he can only join sort of shit units now. So
Yeah.
The only thing, if I was to run him, I'd keep him separate and I'd use him just for his war gear ability.
Yeah.
And I'd just run him at the enemy.
I think you put him in an assault squad in a transport if you want a cheap blender unit. Because you can give them the lance or the sustained hits. He's giving them an extra attack as well. I think there's some play there. I don't think it makes the cut, but I think that's the obvious thing that jumps out at me. He is a bit of a badass. He has a single shot with devastating wounds, precision, and psychic, so he's there to snipe characters. If you want to definitely do mortal wounds, you make it hazardous, and you get anti-character 4+. So on a 4+, you get your mortal wounds, and then it's D6 damage. So super swingy, but if it goes off, it goes off. And it's anti-chaos 2+, strength 6, AP 2, D3 damage. I don't really care about that. But yes, you're right. He can only join fairly poor squads. Although assault squads, I'm pretty hot on. I quite like them. I think they're good. And command squads, if they're cheap, they might be decent, just because the amount of weapons you can put onto them. But that kind of remains to be seen. Asmodai, reroll hits, standard for Chaplain. Enemy characters have to make battle shock tests, subtracting 1, and if he destroys a character, gain a CP.
He's been a bit meh forever.
That's super meta dependent. If we see lots of character units, forcing battle shock on them might be good. Here's the thing. Characters have better leadership. So, in theory, battle shock is hard to pull off against them. He's got a precision weapon that's anti-character 2+, which is only strength 4 AP 0-1 damage. I got excited before I see that.
Yeah.
And then he's got a crap chaplain. Yeah, I don't love it, especially the squads he's going in. My mic is popping up.
I think there's better
Thank you
options.
very much, Chris. I'll move that away from the mic there, and I'll stop shouting as much. Perfect. So, Talon Master. Before we look at the sheet, do you want to just tell us what a Talon Master can do?
Yeah. So, well, apart from the jank, yeah. So they've been nerfed.
No, just tell us the jank. That's the important bit here.
Oh, the jank. Yeah. So they can't join any squads, even though they've got the leader keyword. Weird. But they've got the if they're within 3 inches of a friendly Adeptus Astartes mounted or an Adeptus Astartes flight vehicle, they get the lone operative keyword. And funny enough, a Talon Master has both the vehicle and the fly keyword, and you can bring more than one of them.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. He gives ignore cover, which is a nice buff. It's very thematic for what he's had already. So here's the thing, you can't shoot it within 12 inches, unless you're within 12 inches, but if you get within 12 inches, you're going to move 6 inches away. Because
within 9.
It's within 9, yeah. So you can still shoot him if you position correctly, but if you get within 9, if you try and deal with him in combat, you just can't. He is underwhelming as always in melee, although he has 5 attacks.
Is he up 5 to back? Yeah, back up from 3.
Yeah, back up from 3. So if you, although he has lost, God, what was it called? The attacks on the charge that Space Marines have had for like 4 years now.
Oh, Shock Assault.
Shock
but that only
Assault,
took him
yeah.
up to 4, didn't it? So it's still more
Sure,
attacks.
sure, but like it's still nice. He's probably a good candidate for Heaven Flame. Heaven, we've been going for too long. We're approaching 2.5 hours, and I'm stumbling. Yeah, he picks up chaff. He's not as scary as he was. Like he rerolls all his wounds, which is cool, but his output is significantly lower. He's only making 9 shots instead of the 18 he was making before. He's not AP2 on everything. Yeah, so he's cool. I don't know if we see the jank because he might be priced out of it.
Depends on how expensive they are. It might still be worth bringing 2 of them just to sit around at the back, just going around picking up chaff, just flying around as a little squadron.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like hitting on a 3+ kind of kills Talon Masters. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it depends on the points. It's like you've got to look at it and say, does the output of this for 2 of them make it worthwhile for them to just kind of go around and jank? Because they are effectively basically a squad of 2 models with and they've got to be within 3 inches instead of 2 inches. But it's quite cool that you can actually take land speeder squads, whereas you can't because now land speeders are 1 model. 1
individuals, yeah.
Yeah, so that's quite fun. Lazarus, his protection against psychic attacks and mortal wounds is on his self only, and he has a fight on death. He can go in these squads. There's so much good stuff in here, we don't need to talk about him because he's not good. Strike Master, Lieutenant. He's got the +1 to hit and wound, but this is against enemy units that are below half strength. So that's interesting. Oh, it's just him. It's not the unit. So
yeah, it's just him that gets it.
Okay, that's fine.
Just if you want to get the lethal hits to Terminators.
Yeah, lethal hits on Terminators. I don't love this. It's whatever. You can give him a Mace of Absolution. You can't give him the good one though. You can't give him the flail. Okay. Like, maybe you take him if you want to, pack in some lethal hits. Maybe that's worthwhile if you're running loads of Lightning Claws, for example. Command Squad, we have seen this. It is good. You return a single model to the squad every time. You get +1 to your OC, which may happen after the fucking
reduction.
Which is super dumb. +1 to advance and charge and heroic intervention for 0 CP. I don't want to spend CP on heroic intervention. This is a great ability. You don't get to use it multiple times, but that's fine. The Sergeant has got 5 attacks, not the Sergeant, the Champion. 5 attacks, Strength 6, AP2, 2 damage, precision. Great stat line. And then you've got you can do your mixed bullshit. This is just good.
Yep.
It's just good. It doesn't have any rule on its data sheet in terms of the normal Terminators. The trade-off is you're getting 3 characters attached to it that can't be sniped out. I think it's just a fantastic little.
I think I mean I'd have to look at the. I reckon I would just go 3 characters and then 7 Thunderhammer Storm Shields.
Quite possibly, yeah. That sounds pretty.
There's so much other ways you can get shooting out of this army that you don't need.
I'm super concerned about 4 wound Terminators with -1 damage. That's a real concern for me. I don't know how we deal with that if Death Wounds disappears out the game, which I hope it does. So we'll see. Deathwing Terminator Squad. These are Terminators. They can do their mixed shit. They've got the normal Terminator. Ignore penalties and +1 to hit against Oath of Moment.
The better one, I think.
Yeah. Lewis says, can you take the 6 up Feel No Pain banner on this squad as the Ancient isn't a character? You cannot. Unfortunately or fortunately. But if you want to...
You can put it on another character, put it on a Lieutenant, or... Because what you could do is you put a Captain with them, he gives them reroll charges, they've natively got +1 charge.
Doesn't that have to go on a banner bearer specifically? So you could put a different in
you can put the Terminator... Bannerman with them. The problem is the banners don't stack.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't really want to double up on that. I think you take this squad and you're happy with it, and then you take this squad and then you put that banner in there.
Oh no, you don't take this squad.
Sorry, you don't take it in this squad.
You take the next one and put the banner on
this squad. Yeah, sorry, I've just skipped past them. It's a Terminator squad. It does only jank. We know what it is basically. Deathwing Knights, -1 damage on the data sheet. This is not okay. This is just not
nuts.
Yeah, this is a real problem, and I hope that they are pointed appropriately. If these things are 50 points a model, I'm okay with it actually.
Yeah, I mean they're 450 points now, I believe, off the top of my head.
Because other
430.
so for context, other Terminators got points decreases and they didn't. So they're kind of sat vaguely where normal Terminators with Storm Shields and Thunderhammers were before they got the massive points cut in December.
They're 430 at the moment for a 10-man.
If these are 500 points for a squad of 10,
I would take 10.
Yeah. I think you'd be right to, but I'm also like, okay, this is a huge chunk of your army. I'm going to play around it. It's fine. If they're like, anywhere near the 33 points a model that a normal Terminator is right now,
30.
I'm pretty sure they're 33, right? Then.
No, I mean, if there were 33 points a model, I would take 30 of these.
Oh, right, I see.
Hands down.
Yeah, I mean, mate, if they're 50 points, you might still take 30 because I've seen the armies that you play.
But I've seen trying to play the new missions is going to be difficult if you've only got 3. Maybe
I
4.
don't know if it is because it feels like a lot of brawling in the center. So it might be just like it's not even like there's no restrictions around building it. You don't have to take a Deathwing detachment where you can only take Deathwing to get your buff. No. You just Existence says just think about that strat so they get -2 to damage. So let's have a look here. So I know people have said that. Subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. Let's just have a quick look at the stratagem here. Subtract 1 from the strat. So they might rule it so this doesn't stack. Right now, I believe it does, but I wouldn't be surprised if multiple sources of -1 damage doesn't stack. If we're in Clown World, where there is no cap and they do stack, they ignore all AP2 for a CP. At this point, the game is unplayable.
But it's only when they're charged, so it doesn't kick in.
Oh, sorry, yes, it's not against shooting. So
the strategy only works when you charge them, basically, and then you can use
no, that's a very fair point. But even if they just have like AP1 to 0, like I'm just thinking about my Eldar list. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to deal with them, other than D Cannon and the other Dev Wound jank that is going to be coming soon. And you've got a once per game Feel of Pain 4 up against Mortal Wounds. So if you give me 1 turn to deal with you, I can't deal with you realistically. Yeah. If you give me 2 turns, I think I can. So very cool.
And they've lost strength. Their Maces of Absolution have gone down 2 strength.
They used to be 823 on their Maces.
823, yeah. But they were only
613. So they've lost AP. They've gained weapon skill because they used to hit.
No, they were always 2s.
Yeah, but they were -1 to hit, weren't they?
Nope.
Oh.
They were literally Thunderhammers that hit on 2s.
Okay, very cool. So now they've moved away from that Thunderhammer, so they're not doing Devastating Wounds, which is one of the few things in the game. The 613, which is a very weird profile. So like damage output wise, I'm not actually super concerned about them. Into like other big bully units.
Well, the problem is you've got 4 attacks now on each person.
Super
and then
cool.
you stack that with lethal hits, sustain hits.
Then it starts. Like if you
a moment, and they will literally kill anything they touch.
I disagree with that on the basis of it's very easy for example, if you're playing into another Terminator brick, even if it's, for example, just like a non-Dark Angels Terminator brick, you just slap Oath of Moment. I don't think you've got any way of getting easy extra AP as Dark Angels, not that I can remember seeing. So suddenly it just becomes a game of 2 up armor saves for them. At which point, it is what it is. I don't think like they're without counter. I'm just very concerned about killing them. Flail of the Unforgiven keeps its rules because it used to spill over damage, and now it kind of does with Death Wounds. 5 attacks, sustained hits, 622. It's just a great profile. What a great weapon. I wish this. I don't know. No, I don't. It would be cool if this was the weapon that they all got, but thank fuck it's not. Let me put it that way.
Stupid.
yeah. But
I think I'll definitely run like if I was to do it, I'd probably go 10 Deathwing, a 10-man command squad, and then
what I could see is you could potentially start running 5-mans of this, because you can just res for free. So you can do the jank where you just put a model on a bit of terrain, and then you heal onto the terrain, like from behind the terrain onto the objective.
In the command phase now.
And then you take a big brick of these, or you take 2 5-man squads of these, so you don't have to use strats on them for the minus damage, and you take the big brick of 10 for the command squad. I think there's some really fun ways to do it. Hopefully, Terminators are priced out of being oppressive if you take loads of them, but to the point where you can take loads of them, because I think they're a cool thematic unit, and they got new models, and they're really cool, but just please don't give us another 6 months of what we experienced with Deathwing Terminators. Fun for the whole family, but not me. Ravenwing Command Squad, again, It's got all the fun stuff of the Command Squad. We've just seen it with the Terminators. This is fantastic. What's your favourite part about this data sheet, mate?
The favourite part about it?
I have two, but I'll let you pick one.
What, of the Ravenwing Command Squad?
Yeah. What's your favourite thing on here?
I didn't really like them, to be fair.
Really? I'm really impressed by them. So
they're only a squad of 6 now instead of 10.
Yeah, that is true, but it means
their
that
melee
they're
weapon
cheaper.
profile is shit.
on these guys it is, but on the guys down below it's not too bad because you get +1 damage on the charge. What I really like about this is, first of all, plasma talons. So it's still 2 shots, but it's rapid fire 1. So if you get within 9,
yeah, you get 3.
You've got 3 shots. So you're not really feeling that lack of models. So you're paying less points to get the same buff, which is really nice. I also quite like this Black Knight combat weapon. Sorry, not the combat weapon. The Mastercrafted Power Sword.
That's the
champion's got. He's just got 6 attacks. He's slapping. Like I find that really fun. I'm really impressed by them.
It depends what the points are, really. That's going to be the biggest thing, obviously.
They're OC2. They're 12-inch move. They heal a destroyed model.
Well, OC3 with the banner.
OC3 with the banner. +1 to advance and charge, and they get to heroic intervention for 0 CP. You can put Samael in there, so you can advance charge. And
shoot and charge, yeah. You
can put a chaplain in there, so you can give them devastating wounds on the shooting if you're close enough, and you want to be close enough because you're getting that extra shot. I'm really impressed by these guys. It remains to be seen whether you can get where you need to, but I think if you can, they're going to pump out some absolute damage, and they're going to be quite hard to
I've got a 5-up in combat. That's probably the best thing about them now as well, because they used to only have 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Or a 4-up if you advanced, but we're getting into the... oh god, Lewis gets this stuff. I assume Tom was talking about Lewis Barrington in chat there. More Sunday morning grinding loss, I see. This is someone that Tom has to play. That's fun. Given that my experience is playing into your GSC at events, I'm quite pleased that you have someone who just grinds you down. I'm not sorry for that. Ravenwing Black Knights. It's the base squad. I think they're still quite good. They get... Oh, no, they don't get +1 damage. I'm
nope, they get anti-vehicle, anti-monster plus on the charge with...
Okay, I don't feel bad about not taking them as the Black Knights. I feel okay about taking them as the command squad now, because I don't care about losing that. Because it's only in melee. Like, this is cool. It's fine, but it's not...
Yeah, I mean, if you want to run lots of bikes, you know...
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can feel quite good about running these.
Depends on what the points are. I mean, it might be the case of that they're not much more expensive than a normal biker, in which case you just run the Black Knights because you get a better profile. But
absolutely.
Because at the moment they're the same price, 30 points each for Black Knight and 30 points for a normal bike.
I love how you can take a single grenade launcher for each 3 models, as if you ever would. Like,
yeah, without the stasis shell, it's rubbish.
Yeah. You take one character with stasis shell, and then you'd never use stasis shell as a strat, and it just never came up. But now there's no reason to do it because that doesn't even exist.
No.
Dark Shroud. This thing is fucking fast. Look how chunky it is.
It's got up to 14-inch move
from 10 inches. Great. I don't understand it. Damage output is whatever. It's always been low.
It's T8 10 wounds now, which is quite smart.
Yeah, it's not bad. And it gives stealth and cover to units within 6.
-1 hit.
It's good. It's a nice little defensive buff. Really good unit. Really love it. Not much to say other than if it's cheap enough, you'll be taking it. You'll be doing some jank by, wanging it into corners behind obscuring terrain and trying to cover as much army. Yeah. Absolutely. Big fan of this model. So if this one's good, like, I don't think there's ever been a point where both of them are good at the same time, right? So I think the next one must be bad. You want to take me through the Vengeance?
Oh, yeah. It's just my favourite model. I've got 2 of them. And looking at this profile, I might invest in a 3rd one if the points are good enough.
Yeah.
So same profile, 14-inch move, T8, 10 wounds. You can take the Assault Cannon Heavy Bolt, but no one really cares about that. It's the very lovely looking Plasma Storm Battery. 36 inches, D6 +1, Blast Twin Linked, Strength 8 -2, 2 damage. And then if you overcharge it, you gain Hazardous, and you go to Strength 9, -3, 3 damage.
And you only roll 1 die, even though you roll
only 1 die to work out if you take wounds.
Which is very funny. So
D6 +1 blast, because currently it's 2d3 shots.
So
blast.
things used if things were a twin link now, it's because they've gone to half the shots. This used to be 2d3.
Yep.
D6+1 is not far off 2d3.
But if you're shooting into a 5-man squad, it's D6+2, which mathematically is what?
I think it's always been
it's
blast,
4 to 5
right?
shots. Pardon?
I think it was blast last edition as well.
Yeah, but blast it was 2d3 blast, so you'd have to go into a 6-man squad. No, you'd have to enter an 11-man squad to get max blast.
So if you're shooting 5 models, you just straight up get D6+2, which is better than D3 plus 2d3. Yeah, that's funny. What I really love about the Storm Inventions is when a friendly unit within 6 is destroyed, not a mounted unit like what we've seen previously, just when a unit is destroyed, you get to shoot. You can only shoot once, and you can only shoot the unit that destroyed a unit. So you're just taking 3 of these, and you're putting them all within 6 inches of each other, and then the first time one of them dies, you shoot the other 2. No, you don't need to. Because this is 14 inches and the servitors are never going to make it, and no one's stupid enough to shoot the servitors. So they kill one of the vengeances, and you go, cool.
And then both of them reply.
Put the clock on me. I'm going to take my shooting phase where I shoot 2 guys back at you, and you're going to feel really bad about that.
Isn't it? There's also one of the normal Space Marine lands. I think it's the attack bites have that rule as well, and the ATVs.
If a mounted unit is shot within 6 inches of it, I think you get to shoot back. So it's you could theoretically just like daisy chain your entire army and be like, I've got conditional shooting. It's
I think these are such a cool unit. I if they're good, I might even look at adding a 3rd.
I love that they've got a 5-up on that. If the points are correct, I think 3 is the correct way to run them, because like it's just going to be. You want to shoot back on death. That's like the main draw. Like, this is good. This is amazing. How does your opponent deal with them? Like, they charge you? Like, cool. Run at me, bro. I'm going to shoot you. Oh, man. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I love it. I'm a big fan of this unit. Not facing it, but I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
Then we got a couple of planes. I'll read the planes.
Everyone's been going off about the Barber Gaunts and their little rule. The Dark Talon Stasis Bomb is the ultimate troll.
I didn't get this far down. How does it go? So once per battle. You go. You again. You're the Dark Angels man.
Once per battle, after this, done a normal move, you select an enemy unit. You've moved over. The unit suffers D3 mortal wounds, which is nice. Did that already. And then you roll a D6 on a 1 to 3. That unit cannot advance or fall back in your opponent's next movement phase. On a 4 to 6, they have to remain stationary. Amazing.
So that's very funny. The reason I'm not super concerned about that is because you pivot at the end of your move. You don't pivot at the start. So your opponent can try and avoid.
You can just move however you want.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You can just go move 20 inches, move over something.
That's very interesting. I'm liking that the conditional stuff they're putting in. There is an upside even if you fail the to roll. It's not just like nothing happens. It's like, oh, something not as bad happens.
Or something stacked happens, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. It'll be interesting to see how much.
And also, the Hurricane Bolter seems to have got quite a big glow up on this.
Yeah, so 12 shots instead. It used to be 24 because it had 2 of them.
No, so it's got 2 of these.
What?
It's got 2 Hurricane Bolters.
Oh no!
So each one in half range is 12 shots, twin linked. Which is quite a glow up.
24 shots, twin links.
Rerolling wounds.
I mean, it's still strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage, but if there's any jank way to put fucking devastating wounds on them.
But still, that's just 24 shots of rerolling wounds is going to cheer chaff like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Rift Cannon, which is always fun.
Yeah. And Dark Angels might be an army that needs to deal with chaff because they're slow terminators. All right. Jet Fighter, this seems to be an anti-flyer. I'm not blown away by it. It's just a flyer. I don't think
you say that, but it is -1 to hit, and it's -1 to wound by other things that can fly. Any model that has fly.
Yeah.
So if Eldar becomes the new meta, nearly everything that they have that's going to want to try and kill them has the fly keyword. So now all of a sudden their whole army is -1 to hit, -1 to wound it.
Right. So but you have 11 wounds, so I'm going to put a fire prism into you.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and I'm going to roll.
There's a lot in this. There's a lot in every codex that is got the fly keyword. Because it's not just flyers, it's fly as a keyword.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't know whether they're cool models. People might take them. I don't know.
I don't think this makes the cut personally. Other than if it gets battle shocked, your flyers can hold objectives, which is not okay. That's a problem. And then
We don't need to
Lionel's
go
gone
lower
7.
than that. That's the last 8 sheet. Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen him before. Like, if you want to, have a quick roundup on him, you're more than welcome to. I haven't really got anything to say other than he's going to be very difficult to kill.
Yeah, he's jacked.
Yeah.
Basically, anything that's not strength, he's basically either going to be wounded on 6s or wounding on 4s most of the time, unless you're because it's just -1 to wound. 3 a pin bun.
He's cracked as he's jacked.
He's nuts.
I hear he wears a diaper to stop him from fucking shitting on these kids. He's just like buddy hopping around. He's absolutely unhinged. I don't really want to talk
I
about
can
it.
see there'd be some games where he will be the guy that he will literally just go around and soloing most of the
like this line here is a real problem because he gives an aura of feel no pain.
Yep.
And if you just stack that with -1 damage Terminators, and he's got -1 to wound, T9, and a 3 pin.
I mean, the feel no pain's only against mortals, but the mortals is what you'd need to kill the Terminators in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, he's removed the one weakness defensively that Terminators have.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm a little concerned about dealing with him. I don't really know how that's going to go, but
I look forward
as
to
always. Yeah, as always, we will work it out as we go, and maybe it'll just be play the goddamn mission around him, which is it's fine. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, Paul. We have managed to
been good fun.
Sweep through 2 hours 45. That's not too bad, and. Yeah, obviously we're going to be getting some points later on. I'm not sure if they've announced when we're getting those by the end of the week, I think. So we'll be looking at writing rules, and we might have to get some practice games in on TTS because I want to know what I'm up against when Scrivo comes for me in the league.
See what kind of filth there is.
All right. Thanks for watching,
Excellent.
everyone. Have a good one.
Cheers.